Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is having a freaking fantastic day. It's Sunday, we're just chilling, we're hanging out, we want to have some fun. Let me adjust some stuff over here real quick while we're getting everything all set up and situated. But yeah, feel free to come on in here, have fun with us, have fun with me, and let's just talk about Hex, right? Let's talk about what we enjoy. And of course, everything else happening with the good old Hex community. Do do do. That's what it looks like whenever I transition my face out of it. What if I do this for the whole stream? Anyways, let me get back to actual areas here where I can set it up correctly and not have it so looking like I'm the invisible man. I don't know why. Why is today acting all weird with the green screen? I know the Hex logo definitely affects it for sure. All right, let's see if we can get this adjusted one more time here. I apologize to everyone who is tuning in. If it's your first time being here, thank you so much for joining. It is always greatly appreciated. Yeah, my shirt's just gonna be a little bit off, and hmm, ha ha ha. Well, let's do this. We're going to get started on sharing some information. I apologize for the delay. I hope everyone, again, is having a fantastic day. We got a lot going on, especially with the Hex price, with the action of Hex, with everything happening with Hex. And really, we just want to talk about what we can be planning for going forward. So this is actually the Hex price right here. Again, I do apologize for that delay. I am trying to get everything all set up, and for whatever reason, it's having technical issues. So it's probably because I have too much light. Anyways, again, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We're gonna get started right now. It's Sunday. We're just gonna have some fun with each other, with chat. I appreciate everyone coming through. And of course, Sunday is just all about having some fun here. So let's do this. Why is my screen not showing up there? Add and speaker myself. Stretch and lower. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's being just a little bit weird with all this right now at this point in time. It just wants to do its own thing and, have its own mind basically today is what it seems to be. So let's see if we can shorten this up a little, shorten this up a little. Open that up. Shorten this. No. Cool, cool. And what's that look like? Terrible. It looks terrible. All right. Goodness gracious. I don't know what's happening with my whole setup today. For whatever reason, I decided to change something, and whatever I decided to change, it just started acting all silly and weird. And so we're just going to kind of get back to the basics of this whole setup right here and just have fun with each other. Again, it's Sunday. We're all about having fun, relaxing. Now's the time to be doing that. We have had a lot of price action, especially over the last week, right? It's been a phenomenal week with regards to how HEX has been doing. What is going on, Bright Light Crypto? I don't know. I'm just switching up my whole setup right now, apparently. All right. All right. All right. What is up, Bright Light Crypto? Appreciate you coming in. To everyone who is rewatching this or watching the stream afterwards, feel free to leave a like, comment down below about how sloppy it was, this little setup and everything going on this morning. But we're having fun, guys. My name is HEX Crypto. I do a daily stream live around noon Central Standard Time. Gabriel's in the house saying hello. We got Bright Light Crypto saying what's up. And today we're just discussing about HEX, right? We want to discuss what's going on with HEX. We got some recent price pumps going on, what you should be planning for if you have some effective strategies, how to set these limit orders to make sure that you're getting the most out of your investments, and just maximizing everything as well. Space D007, hi from Airplane, back from CES 2023 Las Vegas. Wow. I've always actually wanted to go to CES, so I can imagine that's a phenomenal time. But yeah, safe travel, Space D007 as well. You'll get it, Bright Light Crypto says. I'm trying. Follow you everywhere in the world. Hey. That's absolutely incredible, Space D007. We're going to the moon. And that's always one of the fun things, right? Got the HEX shirt on, Stake 5555. We got the HEX hat. We got everything going on with HEX, right? We just want to have an overall blast. We had the HEX conference happening as well with Maddie All In doing the HEX conference. Having a lot of fun with them. So again, whether you're new to HEX, to Season Pro, you definitely don't want to miss out on this information. It is a hangout session. Y'all are more than welcome to be throwing some chats in here. I really just want to have some fun. Yesterday, I was discussing about manifestation and how we can take action to start planning ahead, right? How you can definitely start doing everything now to start manifesting your reality and turning those dreams into a reality. Today, we're just going to be discussing about HEX pumps and price actions and that kind of stuff, but also just a fun stream, right? So if y'all want to throw some stuff at me, feel free to throw some stuff at me while we're watching. Sit back, watch us dive deep into the world of HEX and explore the best ways to maximize profits and returns. And of course, thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more great content and investment strategies. Again, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. These are just strategies that you can use, and if you decide to implement them on your own, then so be it. You have chosen your fate, right? And with any other speculative instrument, there's always risk, right? So keep in mind, this does not come risk-free. For whatever reason, if you feel that way, it is not that case. And of course, it has its own price action volatility. It has its own win a video on ChatGPT on crypto. Yeah, so I absolutely love AI. I'm loving everything about it. I was diving in on Stable Diffusion when that whole thing set up. I've been diving in on ChatGPT, helping out with making the Excel spreadsheet. And for those of y'all who haven't seen that, this is a quick example of the Excel spreadsheet here. And let me actually adjust this back real fast, and then I can get myself going here. Crop. We're just going to go full screen there. and full screen here, and then we adjust it naturally. Okay. Something like that. All right. So this is actually the Excel spreadsheet that I have as well. This is a profit taking strategy. My idea is that one lesson I learned in 2021/2022 bear market was profit taking is definitely something that I should be looking into more. Something I didn't really consider enough on the rally up, and I got to see substantial gains, and then I got to see those substantial gains fall. It does help me mentally prepare for what is possible when Pulse Chain launches and Pulse X and other crypto that you may be getting involved in. So it's always good to see the gains real fast and see it fall as well, because we know if you stay long-term invested, your chances of winning are highly successful if you are in a good product market fit item. I didn't change the font on here. Again, I haven't really had a chance to mess with my profit taking strategies too much on this one. So unfortunately, it's still going to be looking a little bit blurry for some. I know that was one of the items that people had said last time, was that the font just comes in just a little bit blurry. I wonder if I can just quickly, let's see if we can find a font that looks a little bit better. Impact. Why are you not changing any of the fonts? Oh, because I'm only on that one. Haha. It's pretty hard to see. Maybe I do impact not bold. Whoops. Roboto slab. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure out what the I'll definitely figure out what a good font is, and I'll probably be playing around with this as well to make it happen and make sure it just happens a little bit easier overall. But really what I was looking at doing was trying to find a way to make sure that we can take advantage of these items. I definitely will be doing a video on ChatGPT, and shit, I might even just incorporate some ChatGPT in this video since we're talking about it, and then if it turns out to be pretty fun and exciting, we may dive in a little bit deeper into future videos. So definitely, if you like this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and come back for more. Are you expecting news from RH tomorrow? That would be awesome. Or maybe testnet v3 announcement. So he actually is not talking. Well, it is tomorrow. Shit, today's Sunday. So yeah, he is talking tomorrow. I don't actually expect any. I don't expect any announcement to come from a HEX conference. I think he's going to provide updates for us. I think he is going to let us know that there's stuff still in development, but I do not feel that he will make an announcement on the HEX conference, because when he makes announcements, he wants to do them on his own platform and not while being shared on someone else's video, right? So again, I don't believe that he is going to be making an announcement for testnet v3 or any announcement of Pulse Chain being launched. And again, that's because with Richard Hart, he wants to make it on his own channels and not from while he's a guest speaker or a keynote speaker on someone else's stream during a HEX conference. So that's my stance. I don't think we're going to be getting that news. If you are hopeful in that regard, you know, sorry to bust your bubble, but I just don't see it happening personally. Gabriel, to answer that question, to go back here, are you expecting RH news tomorrow? No, but I think he's going to be bringing some excitement. I think he's going to say the stuff that he's always said. You know, that HEX has been working flawlessly now for 3 years, been paying trustless system. It's immutable. There's no admin keys. I think he's going to definitely focus more so on HEX, being that it is a HEX conference. And then he's able to say a lot of things very quickly within, you know, 10, 15 minutes. And I know he has like an hour slot available. So I don't know how he's going to fill in the rest. I know he's going to provide and lean on the group to come in. What I'd really love to see is just him coming back to the basics, right? Because we've heard him say like he's helped people from getting wrecked time and time again. And I think if we just get him back to the basics where he's just sitting down and just having fun with chat, that's what I'm looking for personally, because that's what I've been missing from Richard Hart. Lately it's all been, you know, the media tour to promote his name and to get followers, and he's definitely done so, right? And so I think he's I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's say that. Chat GPT help you to get Chat GPT to help get me to 100K subscribers faster. Type in, how do I get to 100K? Yeah, I bet you it'll provide a lot of information. Richard Hart will give us hope tomorrow, I think, says Bright Light Crypto. And Gabriel says, I miss the streams too. Yeah, and that's how I feel, right? I went back and I looked at, you know, when the last time is that he streamed, and it was like September of 2022, and that was the last time he got on his YouTube channel. And other than that, if you just follow him on Twitter, it's for the most part wishing everyone well and everything like that. But it's missing the key Richard Hart thing, which was, you know, breaking down for people who don't understand Hex, having fun with that with the community, because I think he would do that very often, right? He would explain the whole Hex protocol, and then he would talk about emergency end stakes, and you know, so I would love to see him just get back to what he did there. So yeah, talking about the price pump action with Hex right now, right? So if we saw this just a moment ago, this is actually the price action happening with Hex at this moment in time. So we have a lot of momentum going on. We actually just got an indicator for long on here, which just means that the 9 EMA is now crossing above the 15 EMA, and it may be ever so slightly at this point in time. But usually when this thing crosses, and you can see that little cross right here, just in case you can't, this little icon right here, usually when this crosses, it is a good indicator to show that there will be some bullish action coming from Hex. And that's really what I want to kind of discuss in today's video, right? I know I kind of drawn this out saying we're going to bounce here between 1.9 to 1.4. We fell down in that range, and we did bounce here for a little while. We got as low as 1.7 cents during this time. I hope you were able to scoop up some additional Hex by setting some limit orders, which we will also be discussing here as well. And really just having an overall blast looking at kind of what's happening, what's possible, what may be going on, and things you can kind of do to prepare yourself for what's inevitably going to come back and start pumping even harder, higher, and ways you can either take advantage of this overall market right now, or at least have a strategy that comes with this too. Okay, so all of that is kind of coming in this video. So getting back to what Hex is, right? For a lot of folks who are new to the channel, who may not understand, Hex is a decentralized ERC20 or ERC20 token on the Ethereum network. It's by far, my opinion, the most transparent crypto out there. You can find as much information as you possibly want to regarding Hex, from how much is in circulation to how much is being held to how much is being staked. Everything is very transparent within this cryptocurrency, which makes it incredible for someone who may be either new to crypto, or if you are a seasoned veteran in crypto, to someone who likes to dive in and learn some more information themselves. It's essentially considered to be like a first blockchain certificate of deposit, which just means that if you lock up your Hex for a set period of time, and you get to choose this period, then you actually earn additional yield from your Hex. And that yield is paid back depending upon how long you lock it for. And if you decide you want to end it early, just like a normal certificate of deposit in the fiat world, if you decide to pull it out early, there's a penalty. And that penalty is then, calculated into how much you had returned versus how much the penalty is. And then you're able to pull out whatever money that you have. It's a very basic understanding of Hex. And of course, we can dive in deeper into that, but this isn't really in regards to that. This is more so for people who are probably holding liquid HEX. A lot of folks are holding liquid HEX because we do have the pulse chain launch coming soon. And with the pulse chain launch, there's a massive amount of capital sitting on the sidelines waiting to deploy. And I cannot wait for the launch of Pulse Chain to see what's going to actually happen, because HEX is now very correlated to any announcement or any news or any launch of Pulse Chain. It's now tied very heavily, unfortunately, so much so that even the slight mention that the devs are working on it has actually caused the price to start going back up in recent times. I do feel that to be the case, right? I think we've been talking about it, but the Pulse Chain devs have become more active when it comes to their development in GitLab, which is where Pulse Chain's being developed. And because they've become more active, and because we have RH coming on and actually streaming soon, people are hoping for a lot of stuff coming from him. And so I just want to make sure that everyone's properly prepared during this time, because guess what? The 5 P's, proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you're ready for what's about to come, then you're going to be able to make the plans in order to take the necessary actions to do what's necessary to win. Right? If you are caught off guard and you start making emotional decisions, the chances that you make the correct decision is very unlikely. Think about it like this. If you're in an argument with someone and you know you're in a heated argument, I mean you're heated. You can feel your heart racing, you can feel almost like your skin starts sweating, your body temperature rises. All that stuff is called a heated argument. And usually what happens in those moments is you will say some shit that is very, very painful to the other person sometimes, just so that way you can either make your point, or because it just comes to your mind and you're in an emotional state of mind. It's not coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of logic. It just comes from emotions. And when you say it, you cannot take it back. But damn, did you mean to say it? Probably not. So think about that with your trades, or with your investments, or with your own decisions that you decide to do within the market. If you start seeing something happening and you start making emotional decisions, the chances that you're going to be successful, very unlikely. Okay. So again, the 5 P's, proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? That will allow you to maximize, come in with a sound head, come in with a logical point of view. You're coming in with reasoning. You formulated all these different scenarios. And that's why I think pump strategies involve buying and selling either large amounts of HEX to manipulate the price to increase profits, right? And I don't want to say this in the sense of trading. I don't want to say this in the sense of I want you buying in when it's, coming in and it reaches a certain point on the fib retracement level, and then you sell here at this point. No, my strategy comes back to a 2x strategy. I want to be able to take profits every time something does a 2x. And this is my strategy that I'm sharing with people within the community, or with my followers. Again, if you decide to make whatever decision you choose, it's on you. Take responsibility. I don't have any investment. I don't have any financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. All I can do is just share my strategies, share my thoughts, and have fun chatting it up with the community. Maybe spitball some ideas back and forth. I know that's how I came up with half the strategies that I have. I have a great buddy who's in the HEX ecosystem with me, and sometimes we'll just bounce each other's ideas off each other. And, that kind of came to where I got my strategy. So the idea that I have is, if you are holding liquid HEX, meaning you do not have any HEX staked at this point in time, or you aren't 100% staked, should I say, because you can have HEX stakes and still hold liquid. If you are not 100% staked and you are holding some in just liquid asset right now, just in your wallet or in your treasure or your ledger, if you're just holding it liquid and it's not staked, this could be something that you could benefit from. And going forward, I want to try to put these actions to work. I want it to work for me. I definitely missed out on taking profits in the first pump of HEX, and I don't want to miss out on profits again. But I needed to come up with a way that wouldn't wreck myself should the price do just something incredible, because you don't want to just pull out all your investment when it does a 2x, 5x, 10x, whatever that number is in your head. You never want to pull out all the way. They always have something called a moon bag. That's something that you hear often in crypto. And sometimes you can return your investment and then play with house money and then keep a little bit to the side and basically let it moon. Just in case it ever moons, you actually have a bag still available. Well, that's a similar strategy to a pump strategy, okay? Like if we know that the prices are going to do some awesome things, especially come the announcement of testnet v3, especially come the highest of stakes documentary, especially come the announcement of pulse chain launch, these are three areas that could cause the HEX price to do some phenomenal, outrageous, incredible pumps. I mean, I'm talking about seeing 100% to a 500% gain within 3 days, which is a possible, 2x all the way up to a 5x, right? And so keep that in mind. These are definitely capable, and it has happened in the past. There's a lot of capital sitting on the sidelines, folks. I mean that sincerely. There's been a lot of folks who have sold their HEX. They have not cashed out, meaning they are still holding liquid USDC or DAI or a stable coin, waiting to reinvest back into the ecosystem once they hear news of Pulse Chain. And that's partially what we've been seeing actually lately as well. And so coming up with the pump strategy is definitely something I want to try to find, right? Setting limit orders is something that we're going to be discussing as well. Proper use of the pump strategies and limit orders can actually help maximize returns. So here's what I mean by a pump strategy, okay? Like we have let me go back to this screen here. So this is the current HEX price right now, okay? And it was sitting somewhere around 2.36 cents. Well, if I measure, because guess what? If you had some limit orders, or if you bought down here, then this strategy you can start using and implementing yourself. If you were not able to buy here, then you can still use the strategy going forward as the price moves going forward. So let's just use the price down here, because I was actually able to get some limit orders filled. I had limit orders set at 2.2 cents, 1.9 cents, and 1.72 cents. So this is actually right in the area that I was able to get some limit orders filled in. So let's just use this area, okay? So assuming that it does a 2x, right? We're going to be looking for the price to go up 100%, which just means it's done a 2x, bringing the price to 3.4 cents, okay? Now, as soon as the price reaches 3.4 cents, my strategy is I want to take out 5% of that initial investment that I put at the 1.7. Why 5%? Well, that number is up to you completely. Some people feel that you can actually take out 50% of the profit at this point in time, and that becomes house money at that point, right? So if you bought in here at $1,000 and it goes up to 3.4 cents, you can actually cash out 50% and you get your $1,000 back, and then it's just house money at that point in time. That's not the strategy that I would implement myself, especially with the coin that has good product market fit, that has a freaking amazing community, okay? The thing I'm looking for is to say I don't want to wreck myself, and so it began kind of coming out with either 10%, 20%, and I came to a number that works for my investment thesis, and that's 5%, because I think this is going to do many more doubles, okay? I do not believe that it's going to stop here at 3.4 cents. In fact, I think we may end up getting back to all-time highs once we hear Pulse Chain start coming. Now, I don't know if we'll end up getting that high, and especially once Pulse Chain launches, we're probably going to see a dip follow soon after. Let me in, coach. Frenchie made bullies in the house. What's up, Frenchie made bullies? He says, "Let me in, coach." LOL. Good morning, brother. Let's go to the moon. We're blasting off, my friend. We're blasting off. What is up, Academaciated? Says, what is up, ATX and fam? All-time high and then some is what he's predicting once we get the announcement of Pulse Chain. I can't even blame him because, damn, that would be incredible. Increíble, right? Okay, so let's just do this. If I think the price is already going to go back to at least all-time highs, if I do it from the current price that it's at right now, which is, you know, we'll just say 0.23, right? So if I have 0.56 times 0.23, whoops, did that one backwards. 0.56 times 0.023, did it backwards again. 0.56 divided by 0.023. Okay, so that is 24 doubles, right? Does that make sense? No, it's 24 2x's. So it would be, let me just do the math on this. It would go from 2 to 5, from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20, 20 to 40, and then that would be essentially 4 2x's, okay? So that would be a 24x from where we're currently sitting right now, or it would be 4 2x's, okay? And that's going from 2.5 cents to 5 cents, from 5 cents to 10 cents, from 10 cents to 20, and from 20 to 40. Damn, I'm bad at math. That's why you don't do freaking math on stream, right? So let me make sure I did that right. 2.5 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40. Yeah, so I got it right. I got it right. So it's 4. So guess what? In this moment in time, I'm planning on taking probably about 20% profit during this time. But imagine that it just does this, right? Imagine that it's currently sitting here. And I think this profit-taking strategy could actually make a little bit more sense if I just do it here. So let's go back and let's just say that the current price ends up taking out and does a 24x. We're just going to go, I'll use this as the strategy, right? Whoops. Okay. I hope everyone can see it on here as well. And I'll try to, again, make the font maybe a little bit better as well. But we're just going to say HEX. And I'm going to go down here and we're going to say the current price is 0.023. Okay. Now, if you were able to get roughly $1,000 worth, let's just do that. It would be 23,000, I assume. 23,000. Okay, cool. And 42,000. Okay, so that's pretty darn close. Let me just make it so that way it's closer to 1,000. 44,000. Okay, right around here. So let's just say you got $1,000 worth of HEX at the current price of 0.23 or 2.3 cents. And using this spreadsheet alone, I definitely want to freeze this row right here so that way you can see it. And I'm making this spreadsheet as we go along, folks. So like, don't sue me, bro. I'm having fun here. Up to row 7. Okay. And I'm too zoomed in, so that's not gonna work. Fuck it, I'll just move it up here. Insert one row above. Okay. So we're just gonna say, say use Kraken. Say we have HEX. We have the current buy price at 2.3 cents. We have roughly around 44,000 coins that were bought. It didn't do any of the Coinbase HEX 0.023 44,200 coins, roughly about $1,000 worth. Okay. And I'm sorry, I have my camera like directly in front of me too. Let's just see. Here we go. I was waiting on money and missed the dip by 1 day. Now, Mo, don't be patient. Be patient. Like if there's one thing that I've learned is that patience is definitely a virtue. I used to feel the same way, as a matter of fact, that I would always feel like I was waiting on the transfers to happen from the centralized exchanges. I was waiting for payday to happen. I was waiting for everything like that. And that was back when the price of HEX was 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50, and all the way back down. So you have to imagine that I understand the pain that you're saying right now. You were waiting on money and you missed it by one day. Personally, I think there's still some more dip to be seen because we don't have any news of Pulse Chain. We don't have any announcement from it. I also personally don't think that Richard Hart is going to say anything on Monday, tomorrow, when he does the stream regarding Pulse Chain. And so I think some of the action that we've been seeing with HEX is probably going to go back the other way, okay? I just think that to be the case. I don't know for sure. I can't guarantee that to be the case. But I do see that is a very strong possibility. And so I want to caution you that patience is definitely the name of the game, which is why limit orders on ups and downs are the way to go. And we're going to discuss limit orders as we talk about this. So say the price does a 2x and I want to take a 5% profit, okay? So that would bring the price to 4.6 cents. It would give us a 5% profit, leaving us roughly about, we would sell roughly about 2,200 coins. You would take out about $100, nothing crazy. Again, that's a 2x from the current price. So you would take out $100, right? Leaving roughly about 42,000 coins left over. I don't think you've messed your bag up that much. I think there's still a lot of opportunity to be had. And there's a reason why we're cashing this out. Now, what I mean by cash out, it means take the money and hold it in stable coins. I do not mean cash out from your currency to fiat. Or from crypto to fiat, because that is, in what I've been told, actually a taxable event at that point in time. But if you're just swapping coins from HEX to USDC, from USDC back into HEX, it's not a taxable event from what I'm told. Again, I'm not a tax advisor. Everyone to figure out for themselves. So whenever I say cash out, I'm referring to just taking this money and sitting on the side with it, okay? Because if I know that 60%, 70%, 80% dips, 90% dips are in the game, I want to be prepared this time. I don't want to be caught with my pants down. So this is a 2x on the current price from 2.3 to 4.6. You've taken out 5%, cashing out $100, leaving roughly about 42,000 coins left over, okay? Now the next one would actually be an 8x, right? Because that would put us from, it would be a 4x. Yeah, I had it right. It would put us from 4.6 cents to 9.2 cents. Is that right? That's a double. Yeah. From 2 to 4, 4 to, yeah, okay, that's correct. So that would put us here. So now I'm going to do the same strategy on the way up. And that would mean that I would be taking out roughly a little bit less than 5%. And the way this is done, it's the math based on everything that I have. I'm still working on this spreadsheet, but I want to have a strategy in place just in case. So that would mean you would sell roughly about 2,000 coins, cashing out roughly almost $200. And that's just at 10 cents. That's not even at 10 cents. That's at 9.2 cents. You would still have 39,000, we'll say 40,000 coins left over. Okay. Now from here at 9.2 down to 1.8, this is 18 cents. This is now going back up to 18 cents. Well, now I want to take out roughly about 5% of my remaining stack, which is 4.5 is how I have this sheet calculated. That would mean I would sell roughly about 2,000 coins. I would then cash out roughly about $365. And I would still have 38,000 coins left over. And then let's just do one last one here for fun. And let's just say the price reaches back up again to 36 cents. That would be a 16x multiplier from where it's currently at right now, folks. This is incredible. And this is where things can start getting some real money back as well. That would mean you would cash out $691. You would still have 36,000 coins remaining after everything is all said and done. After everything, you had the initial profit of 1,000, or you had the overall sales if you sold everything of $1,342. If you exclude the cost of what it cost you of $1,000 of your initial investment, that still leaves over $342, $325, my bad, $325 of your total profit remaining, still leaving you 36,000 coins. Now, the reason why I say this is because if you are holding all this money now on the side, and I'm going to count this as where we're at now, because if you exclude the cost, we know there's going to be a cost involved. If you are now sitting on all this cash because you've sold and you've made it back up again, and you now have $1,342 that you have just sitting right there. Well, guess what happens if the price falls back down to 20 cents, to 10 cents, right? If we know dips are in fact in the game, then I want to prepare for it. So, assuming the price gets up to 36 cents, well, what's 60% of that, right? So 0.36 times 0.6. So if the price was to drop to around 21 cents, that's when I'm going to start looking to re-enter back into it again. Again, this is a long-term planning, right? This isn't something a short-term mindset should have. This could play out in the span of over a year. I don't see this going quickly. I don't see it happening fast in terms of the price going up and the price falling and the price going up and the price falling. I don't want to be caught in that scenario, but I do want to plan accordingly just in case. So if it starts out at 2.3 cents and I start cashing out a little bit here and there, by the time everything is all said and done, you've pretty much got some money sitting on the sidelines ready to redeploy if the price starts falling again. Because if we start seeing the price fall to 18 cents, right? Well, guess what? You now have an extra $1,000 that you can scoop up some more HEX. I want to use the profits I've made from the investment to scoop up some more of the actual investment that I want. That is the whole entire idea of this whole premise right now, okay? I think a big action that I missed out on is I'm having to constantly redeploy new capital to buy more HEX, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Let me say that right now. I have done it. I've been buying. I continue to buy. I think these are phenomenal prices. But again, with everything that I've learned in 2022 and my first bear market, I'm going forward with a different strategy, and I'm just sharing that strategy with y'all. So, Mo, I don't think that you're late. Hello. Sorry. I know I got distracted. But yes, you can make 100K HEX would be easier, I think. Yeah, it probably would. let's do that. It'll calculate everything for me right away anyways. So let's just say you got 100,000 HEX. That would be roughly about $2,300 that you first did. Assuming you did the same profit-taking strategy, you sell it to 5% when it doubles, you would cash out 230 here. You would still have 95,000 coins left over. You cash out on a double. You still have 90,000 coins. Again, you're now sitting on this cash on the side. I do not want to be buying when the prices are going up, making either new all-time highs or really on the full ride up again, right? I want to be ready to prepare, so I'm buying when the price is actually going lower. If I know 60, 70, 80, 90% dips are coming, let me prepare for it, right? How can I prepare? I want to have a cash out strategy available for myself. And so here's what I mean by setting limit orders. And if you go all the way over, you can see at the end of this, you would actually end up making $3,000 over here and your total overall sales. You would actually have a $737 profit if you were to cash out. Again, I'm not using this to trade, folks. I'm not using this to try to get into a position and get out of a position early. I don't want to go back to those days. Those days were, oh my gosh, so stressful for my life, for myself. You would have only sold 19,000 coins, less than 18,300 coins, and you would have actually been able to cash out and now sit on the side with $3,000 extra. So that way, guess what? When prices start dipping again, you're scooping up some more HEX for the money that you've made on the HEX. That's not even including if you stake. This is if you were holding liquid HEX right now, and this is just using the simple math and simple numbers of how everything works. So how can you take advantage and how can you implement this strategy to actually make it happen? Well, you set limit orders, folks, and this is where limit orders can come into play for buying and for selling, okay? So limit orders can definitely happen fairly easily because on here, you can actually set limit orders on matcha.xyz. You can do them on 1inch.io. You can do them on dex.guru. And with all of these charts over here, you can actually go in here, click limit order, for example, and you can sell. You can click this little sell button. You would fill in all the information and it'll allow you to sell a certain amount at a certain price. Okay. So let's just say we're adjusting this to HEX. I need to go back to the HEX token. HEX. All right. So if I'm over here with HEX right now, you can set limit orders. Now, Dex.Guru, from what I've noticed, only has a 3-day option for limit orders. Matcha.xyz has a 7-day option for limit orders, and 1inch.io you can go up to like a long time, 2 years or something. So, but 1inch.io is not handy for people in the US. So find what works for you and what makes sense, because these are all methods that you need to figure out for yourself of when you want to go through and actually set it all up, okay? But the way you can set this up is hopefully you set some limit orders down here to scoop up some more HEX. And if you didn't, then maybe now is the time to start learning limit orders, okay? Let me make the screen just a smidge bigger. I thought I could lower this. Oh, there you go. Okay. There you go. Yeah, see, just a little bit better. So now if I'm planning ahead and I know based on what I see here in this little spreadsheet that if I want to take out 5% profit when the price reaches 4.6 cents because I was able to buy 100,000 HEX at 2.3 cents, well, then that means I need to basically be ready to set a limit order to sell 5 tokens or 5,000 tokens at 4.6 cents. And this is just my calculations of how to do it. So you can actually come in here and you can actually set these limit orders in place. I can say I want to sell 500 tokens, 5,000 tokens, I mean, at 4.6 cents. Right? And so now I have this in place. I would cash out $232. I can then set this up and I can actually go through and set this limit order up right here by clicking all this stuff. Now, this is a dummy wallet, so it doesn't have any money or funds in it. I just use it to allow myself to test on these sites and check out different items and dApps and that kind of stuff. But this is how you can do it. You set limit orders for buying and you also set limit orders for exiting. This is so that way you don't try to stray from your plan. Because I noticed that once the price starts going up, yes, you can hold that and you'll go up even more, and you can actually make more money from just holding it longer. But in case the price goes up to 5.3 cents and then starts dipping again, for example, I want to still be able to have cashed out some profit on a double, which is why you can set limit orders going through and setting this up. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense at least. First thing, make sure you don't... Damn, I forgot to share the screen. First thing, make sure you don't stake all your HEX if you want to take some profits. Right? You don't want to EES. Yeah, 1,000%. Like, and don't commit to a stake that you don't think you can commit to. Right? Like, that's the purpose of staking. So you don't do something stupid like make rash decisions or be emotional during these times. If you have it to where you're 100% staked, well, maybe you scoop up some more HEX with some fresh cash and hold it liquid so you can implement these strategies. Or maybe you have a stake ending soon and you can take some profit and some yield and scrape off the yield and restake it. And now you're just holding this liquid HEX on the sideline, right? You don't necessarily always have to restake everything out to the maximum. You need to decide what's best for you. And that's a part of this whole strategy. That's why I'm discussing all this. This is what I was talking about with setting a limit order right here for those of y'all who I didn't share the screen with a second ago. But you can actually come on. That looks terrible. Does it look terrible? It looks pretty terrible. I'm going to zoom back out. That looks a little bit better. Yeah. So this is setting a limit order to say, okay, once the price reaches 4.6 cents, sell 5,000. Well, you can do the same strategy going forward once I use this profit taking. So now I know, and once it reaches what 9.2 cents is the next one, I want to sell roughly about 4,500. And where I'm getting that number is, again, it's 5% of the 95%, which is why I have 4.75 being sold here. And I'm going to play with this as we go along, folks. I'm adjusting this. I'm constantly coming up with my own investment thesis. I want to make this possible to share with everyone in the community as well. So I want to come out with the release product. Currently, right now, is definitely not released. I want to make it a lot more user-friendly because I know right now, for the most part, if I change something, I know what I changed. But to make it more user-friendly, and that way everyone has an idea. So I know that if the price now goes up to 9.2 cents, I'm going to now set a limit order at 9.2 cents for 4,500, right? And that way you can just come back in here, set yourself a limit order, so 4,500 at 9.2 cents, right? And it'll automatically do this. And you can find a website that will set this for you, but it'll cash that out. And it's just a nice little way of getting all of your investments done the right way. Firefighting 82. Very interesting. Haven't made a profit strategy. I will now. If it dips back after, then I'll rebuy. Yeah. And so I made the mistake. Like I said, I got to see my investment go from, 5-figure investment to 6-figure investment. And that was a awesome opportunity. That's when you start telling everyone. That's when you start sharing with everyone. That's when you start having these wild dreams of what's available and what's possible in the future. And that's when things start going crazy. And then you start seeing the 6-figure investment drop down to 5-figure investment. And then it's just like, oh, shit, I missed a big opportunity, right? And so let me just see. The wife sent a message. Oh, that's sad. She took the dog to the park today. Cute little picture of the puppy. Oh, my goodness. Such a cutie. And heading to Pup Cup, then grab Delta. Tons of people, several dogs, but journey was so good. Perfect. Oh, cute little video. Oh my goodness. He's having so much fun. Perfect. Awesome. So, yeah. So part of the thing that Firefighting 82 is saying right here, I didn't have a profit-taking strategy, right? And now the price is where it's been, and I've had to redeploy fresh capital or new capital. And while I'm glad that, I'm getting more HEX or whatever it is that I'm looking at getting, I missed the opportunity to actually use the profits that I had made to scoop up some more HEX at these prices. And I said, I'm not making that mistake again, especially with Pulse Chain and especially with Pulse X, but HEX still, because this has a potential to easily go back up and do a 24x from here to reach its all-time high. I definitely see that being possible. And you have to have a long-term investment strategy plan too, right? I see us hitting $1 by 3 years. So that would put us in 2026 and HEX would be at the price of $1. I don't want to be holding through the whole time while it's at $1 and then watch it dip back down to 10 cents again, right? Because if you know that 8, 60, 70, 80% dips are in the game, I need to come up with the strategy to make sure that I can capitalize on these opportunities. So while you cash out, you still have to have the wherewithal not to just spend it on stupid shit or go chase a new shiny object. So all this stuff is absolutely happening. Academaciated saying, breaking my heart, but you're probably correct. I heard every swap is a taxable event after initial buy. See, and again, like, so my my tax advisor has said that to be not the case, and I'm using the HEX Investment Trust as MCA, Mountain Crypto Advisors for my folks, and I haven't heard anything from them saying that to be the case. Frenchy Made Bully said, "You a genius, my boy. Hex is designed for a very long-term mindset." Yeah, no, like for sure, right? And so like with everything that you do in life, you have to have a long-term vision in order to see it come to fruition. If you're buying and flipping real estate, for example, you typically have a 5 to 10 year vision that you're looking at doing. And I'm not talking about buying and flipping within a few months so that way you get into the next one. I'm talking about you buying a property, fixing it up, renting it out, holding it for X amount of time, selling when the market's high, and getting out in 10 years. I think that same thing comes to fruition with every single stock that you ever hold. You can't just hold a stock and expect it within 1 year to make you a multi-millionaire. And if you're going with that strategy, then you're already coming from the wrong angle, right? You're already coming from the wrong angle to be doing that. You have to have a long-term strategy to actually end up outperforming the entire market, which is why sometimes doing nothing can be by far the most boring thing ever. Sometimes doing nothing can be the best thing ever as well. So I know I'm not a person to just sit back and do nothing. I could sit back and watch the investments go up in value, and then watch it drop in value, and then watch it go back up in value. But I've been watching these prices over the last year, and I've been reaming myself for not having more capital to deploy to scoop up these prices. And I think everyone feels that way, right? I've seen other people pick up jobs, and I've seen other people do a whole bunch of stuff to just, buy some more HEX at these prices. But I want to be able to scoop up prices, not from new capital, but from capital that I previously deployed that did well and made money, right? And so if HEX has done that for me, and it's gone up, and it's done a 2x and another 2x and another double and another double, well, damn it, I want to take some of that money and sit it to the side. So that way, if and when the price drops again, I'm not deploying new capital. I'm deploying that capital that I had sitting on the sideline waiting for the price to come back down. That is what I'm looking at. And so I've said before, like 70% was my initial re-entry price. And I think I'm going to adjust that to 60%. But this is a constantly changing metric in my head. And I think that's something that we all need to be considerate of, or we all need to be mindful of, okay? Like, this has been a learning opportunity for me that I am so thankful to have been a part of, okay? Because, like, in my head, I now have learned so much about the overall, markets, the overall crypto strategies, my own mental health, and my own mental well-being within what I'm doing. So I need to make something that will not make me feel like I'm wrecked, because if you sell 50% when it doubles and then it goes and does another 24x, I guarantee you're beating yourself up no matter what, even if that's all house money at that point in time. And that's how I would feel, at least. And so I don't want to feel that way. And so I want to come up with a strategy now so I can be logically ready and physically ready to redeploy whatever it is, or to deploy the actual action that I want to see. Right? Because, like, this has been such an opportunity for me to come out here and start learning this stuff, right? Mo says, I'm a bit behind the live stream. I FOMO'd some money. I scraped together. I got the money now and about to set up limit orders below 2 cents. Love it. Love it. Like, that's so cool, Mo. 100% possible. Yeah, CowSwap does limit orders as well. Bright Light Crypto, they're another one. 1inch, cool with the VPN. No, but you can use it with the VPN, if that makes sense. I'll say it like that. CowSwap better than Matcha? I know. I'm getting to the chat now. Everyone's like, swap screen? Because I still had it on the profit taking strategy at that point in time. And, you know, that's part of like, you know, fun of streaming, right? There you go. It says Nuno Alvaro Acevedo. Thank you so much for coming through in chat and being a part of it. Can you sell the Excel spreadsheet for profit taking? Yeah, for sure. And if you want, I can always like hit me up on if you want to adjust it yourself, you definitely can. But you can hit me up on ATX Crypto on ATX Crypt on Twitter. Just take off the O at the end, ATX Crypt, and you know just DM me, and I can share what I have. I definitely still want to be implementing it before I share it within the overall community, because I think that there's still a lot of work that I need to do on it in order for it to be a lot easier for people to understand. And so I will be putting forth a system for myself, and I just need to set aside some time to really make it my like a day that I spend just tweaking a lot, and then just making it a lot more user friendly. So you can adjust some stuff and everything there as well. Mo says thanks for sure. ATX Crypt or ATX, can you share with us how you think HEX will bottom this year? Yeah, so like one, I never thought price would ever dip this low. I can just start off saying that, right? And so what I see happening, and I'll go, yeah, well, what I see happening, let me go back to this screen. I feel like it's a little bit easier to kind of show what I'm talking about. So here's what I see happening, and let's just go to the weekly here, because you know we don't have short-term visions here. We got long-term visions here, right? So overall, I think we're gonna see the price go back and start retesting some all-time highs and that kind of stuff, which we already can kind of see and predict, right? And so if I think that to be the case, whoops, and go the other way, and just make it easier for everyone to see. So I just want to make it to where you can actually see the full screen. Okay. So if I come back over here and I'm sitting here at the current price of where it's at, what it's done, you know, we have over here, of course, where it's been with the HEX price and everything as well. You know, we had the HEX price hit that like 56-cent range. What I see happening for HEX is we have still to have Pulse Chain launch. And so I'll just kind of draw what I see happening. I think once we actually get an announcement of Pulse Chain and once it launches, from here, I think until we get news of Pulse Chain, I think we just capitulate around this area. We don't really have a lot of momentum. We're so heavily tied now to Pulse Chain, to the news, to any news about Pulse Chain. And so I think we just kind of bounce here in this range if we just continue to get no news, right? But should we actually get some news of Pulse Chain, then what I can see happening is that we see us kind of rally all the way up, we bounce back, and then we start hitting this level, right? Once we start hitting this 10-cent level again, this 7-cent, 10-cent level, we start bouncing off these points in time. That's when things will start getting crazier, in my opinion, because until then, we don't have a lot going for it. I think HEX is so heavily tied with Pulse Chain. I've mentioned that before. But if we know that dips are in fact in the game, then for the rest of the year, I see the launch of Pulse Chain happening probably around this mid-May area again, folks. And that's because we got the Uniswap V3 that the license will be expiring, and I think he's waiting for that. I think we still have some more pain to come in the market for Bitcoin and the overall market sentiment for how we feel. And so I don't think the bear market's fully over at this point in time. And so until it's over, again, I think we bounce in this range, which is why I think setting limit orders between lower than 2 cents, maybe 1.9, or right above 2 cents, 2.1, right, could be great buying opportunities. And then we have lower opportunities here. And if we drop below 1.4, I do think that we will see 1 cent, folks. But that's a different discussion. So I think we bounce here. If we get the announcement of the Pulse Chain launch, we're going to have a lot of hype, and that's going to build up to this. And that's kind of what I'm anticipating this to be the case. A lot of hype coming around this time to get us back in this range. And then Pulse Chain's going to launch, and I think we're going to see a dip. Now, how far we're going to dip, let's just measure. I think we're probably going to see, I think we're probably going to end up seeing roughly about a 60%, 70% dip here. And so I see us going back down to 5 cents again. And that's just kind of a rough estimate. So on the low side, if we go back up and we start rallying back up again, I think we are going to drop with the announcement of Pulse Chain. There's going to be so much excitement, so many people who are swapping who are getting into HEX just to get into Pulse Chain right now. And then once Pulse Chain comes, there's going to be so many people that are trying to get that new shiny object. And we are definitely going to have some downside price action happening on HEX. That's my opinion. That's what I think is going to happen. And so to answer the question, Nuno, that's kind of what I see. Unfortunately, I see us kind of going back down should we end up needing to retest around 5 cents again. And that's if we actually start going back up. If we end up going back up to the previous all-time high, which I don't know if we're going to make it that far. All right, let me just say that much right now. I don't know if we're going to end up rallying all the way back up again to like 50 cents, right? And should we get this level, I would be stoked, man. I would be freaking elated. That would be incredible. And let's just measure from here, right? And if we end up being right around whoops. Why does it show the price in two different areas? Is it because I drew it differently and it just went farther than what it is? 1 second here. Let me just delete this one. Because look at this. We have a lot of resistance to pass. We have this 7 cent level, 10 cent level, 20 cent level, 30 cent level. There's a lot of resistance that we're going to need to get through for us to get back up to 50 cents again. That's where I think it's going to go. But should we end up getting here and we end up reaching this 50 cent level, which is where it's showing right now, and then we measure back down from here, I would see us dropping roughly to about, again, 75%. So roughly around 12 cents if we end up reaching all-time highs of 50 cents. Again, I don't think we're going to get there. My hopes are that we do get there. But it's going to take a lot of momentum to pass all these levels. And I don't know if we have the same community that we once had. Because we have a whole bunch of people who are new to the HEX ecosystem. And nothing against them. They just don't believe in HEX wholeheartedly. They actually think that HEX is just a coin to either trade. They don't even know about the staking mechanism of HEX. If they do stake, they do a very short-term stake for either a 30-day rolling average, and it's just not necessarily good. We have a lot of folks new to the community who don't understand the actual purpose of HEX, okay? Richard's mentioned multiple times, BTC can drop as low as 11K. That's scary, particularly considering how altcoins generally react to BTC price drops. Yeah, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and the reason why we haven't had 11K right now is because all these centralized exchanges are holding so much Bitcoin, so much Ethereum, and they're going bankrupt and they're not selling their assets. People aren't cashing out. They don't have enough time to extract their coins, to sell their coins. They're just going bankrupt. And so all these coins are now just being held. And so instead of the market doing what it's supposed to do, which is sell when these events happen, if you go and look at the Bitcoin price, this sucker hasn't really moved much, and that's sad. That's not something that you should see. Usually what happens when the price starts dropping is you get a lot of action to follow. But look, we had, and I can probably go back, but we had like FTX collapse, we had BlockFi collapse, we had Voyager collapse, Celsius, Luna. There were so many exchanges, 3 Arrows Capital. There's so many people that went bankrupt in the last bear cycle, but look at this action. It hasn't really done anything. It's gotten as low as 15K, and that's about as low as it got. And right now it's bouncing around 17K, right? And so I said here that we're going to bounce here in this range from 18K to 12K. And if we go below 12K, then we have trouble. But as long as everything just continues to bounce in this range, because there's not a bunch of people selling, I think that's what we're unfortunately seeing right now. We don't have a lot of sell pressure coming from these exchanges because they all went bankrupt. So many people are holding all their funds on centralized exchanges. Get your coins off the exchanges, folks. Not smart. Not your keys, not your coins. Because when they go bankrupt, you don't have access to them anymore, and there's nothing you can do. In fact, Celsius just got an announcement saying that Mashinsky owns the coins, basically, and so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. How garbage is that? Because they said, like, what? Let me see if I can find the article, because that was such garbage, man. When I heard news about this, oh my goodness, I was like, this is really happening right now. Like, that's actually really going on. And that's sad, dude. Like, what? So many people lost all their coins, and they're basically saying, like, oh, it's okay. It is what it is. You gave your coins up. Oh, I can't even spell Celsius correctly. There we go. Nope. Celsius. Crypto. And what was it? Coins. Let me just see if I can even just find it on Google real quick. Why does it matter? New York sues alleging crypto fraud. Celsius owned coins held in interest-bearing account. Where was it? And if y'all can remind me of where it was, because I seen that article come through and I was shocked. Celsius users with crypto collateral stuck. Customer funds. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, yeah, here we go. Judge rules Celsius Network's own customers' crypto deposits. Are you shitting me? The judge rules that networks or the Celsius network owns the customer's crypto deposits. Like, if that doesn't get any more clear to y'all that not your keys, not your coins, I don't know what will. Look at this article. A federal bankruptcy judge ruled that Celsius Network owns most of the cryptocurrency the customer's deposits on its online platform, meaning that Celsius customers will be the last to receive repayment from the crypto lender. Bam! That freaking sucks for these dudes, right? That is such garbage, man. That is ridiculous that they said that, like, you gave your coins away to Celsius. In terms of you getting your money back, you are now at the very bottom of their repayment schedule. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Judge rules all rights unambiguously transferred. In a 45-page decision, the U.S. Chief Bankruptcy Judge in the Southern District Court of New York concluded that the deposits in the lender's yield-bearing earn accounts belong to Celsius, not individual account holders. Oh my God. So that basically means that he can do whatever the fuck he wants with that money, folks. Like, are you... Dude, that is terrible. Some account holders believe that Celsius was in a breach of contract. However, Glenn disagreed, writing, the court finds that there was a valid contract between Celsius account holders and Celsius, and that the contract terms unambiguously transferred all rights of digital assets to Celsius. You're fucked. You're straight up. You're fucked. Are you kidding me? Nuno Alvaro Acevedo says it best. Yeah, that freaking sucks. That is super garbage, right? This is a shit show, and this just came out. Give me one sec. The wife is messaging again. Could you pop Delta into your office in a couple minutes so I can get... Yepers, you got it. Okay. Jesus. Yeah, but look at that. Straight up garbage. Straight up garbage. Tell me that's not garbage. That is straight up garbage. It is a total catastrophe. It sucks for all those people too. They screwed up. And And I'm so thankful that I didn't have to learn this particular lesson this way. I'm glad I get to sit on the sidelines and watch and say, like, man, that freaking sucks for them. Glad I wasn't a part of it. But like, dude, that is brutal for all these people. It's actually hard for me to have a mindset to sell hex and take short-term profits. Been so locked in on accumulating and thinking about 2025 as a possible bull top. Firefighting, hey, you don't have to. Like, I'm talking about I ain't gonna make the same mistake twice. And I just don't want to. I can't make the same mistake twice. I want to buy so much more hex than I can even buy right now. And I want to accumulate so much more hex than I can accumulate right now without coming up with more dry powder and without coming in with new cash. I don't I don't want to have to keep coming up with new cash constantly to redeploy it into the contract. Like, there should be a point in time that I should be able to take some of the profits that I've made and scoop up some more hex in that regard. Here, the wife's home right now. Let me just make sure everything's all gravy. Hi, baby. Oh, someone's ready for you.
I'll just leave the back door open.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay. Love you. Looked like Journey had a lot of fun.
We're gonna be gone for a while, so I'm gonna drop the shirts off to Bear, and I'm gonna go drop Charlie's stuff to Charlie. We'll grab some lunch somewhere where Delta can sit, but first we'll parties.
Awesome.
Maybe we'll have two Bear.
Maybe Salada or something, right?
Huh?
Salada don't they allow dogs?
Closed on Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
Delta didn't eat his lunch?
No,
Did you try?
I did.
Didn't want it.
He didn't want it. Wasn't having it. Love you. All right. Back to the stream. Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, firefighting. Like, it is difficult, right? Which is why I came out with this strategy, right? Which is why I figured out some method to say, how can I feel comfortable selling something that I think is going to end up reaching $1 at some point in the future? But I also believe that it's going to hit lower than $1 as well sometime in the future, right? And so, just like I said earlier, like the announcement of Pulse Chain, like I think that's going to have a big old sell thing happen, right? Because people are going to have a new shiny object. There's a lot of folks who didn't sacrifice as much as they wanted to. They're going to buy Hex, and it's going to pump the price of Hex up. And then once the actual bridge happens, they're going to sell their Hex on the Ethereum side, bridge it over onto the Pulse Chain side, buy some Pulse Chain, buy some Pulse X, buy the new cryptos that are being developed on there. So I think Hex is going to have the biggest momentum going into the Pulse Chain launch. It's also going to have a biggest downside sell pressure after the Pulse Chain launch. So how can you take advantage of that if you don't take some profit? Now, I'm not saying, again, that's why I came out with this 5% number in my head. It had to be a number that made sense to me, that made it feel like I didn't wreck myself and I made a good decision. Because if I think the price is going to end up reaching that 50 cents level and then it drops back down to a 20-cent level or 15-cent level, then damn it, I want to buy some more at the 15-cent level after it dips. You know what I mean? But I don't want to have to come in with more dry powder again. I want to take some of the money that I made from the profits and I want to redeploy that and buy some more of the investment that I want. That's why I'm coming up with the strategy, and that's what I think everyone should be figuring out something they can do themselves. I don't want to be emotionally making decisions. I don't want to see the price going doop 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 doop, or I'll go the other way doop 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 doop, and then it drops a little and then goes doop 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 doop, and then it just starts going, and then I do nothing and I see myself go from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars potentially, right? And so if you go from a 4-figure investment, 5-figure investment to a 6-figure investment, or turn it into a 7-figure investment, and then watch that turn back into a 5 or 4-figure investment, boy, that is brutal. I'm telling you that from firsthand experience. Like, and I don't want to be coming from that same perspective again. I want to at least come up with something that I can say, okay, this time I'm okay with doing 5%. And it doesn't have to be 5, dude. That's what I'm trying to say. Like on this sheet that I have, let me see. I probably have to zoom out just a smidge to see the actual tabs. How do I see the tabs? Hide. I guess I don't really care about that so much. How do I see the tabs? How do I get this back over here? Come on, Mac. Work with me. Mac. What the heck? Well, I don't know how to move my little taskbar, and that's blocking the tab for whatever reason, so I'm just going to move my screen up a smidge. There we go. That was weird. Okay, so this is what I have right now, and so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a 5%, right? It can literally be... And did I adjust this for everything? No, of course not. It can literally be 10%. It can be 5%. It can be 3%. It can be whatever number that you want, right? And so if I go back over here to this screen, well, now if I go with the 10% strategy and it does a 2x, then I'm going to sell 10,000 coins here. But again, like I felt that like 10% started feeling like too much for me, because I don't want to be regretting selling, or I don't want to, when I say selling, temporarily pausing the profits, right? Because if you see something that can go up substantially, and 10,000 after 50 cents could turn into a $5,000 investment right here, right, on something that only cost you $2,300, that could still be plenty of coins. But I want to have something in place so that way I'm ready. I want to be prepared. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Man, I mean that when I say that. I want to sit there and say 5% to me felt like a very good number. It felt like it wasn't taking a lot. It's scraping just a little bit, and it's being ready for the rainy days. If we know rainy days are in fact in the game, then let's make sure that we're ready for the rainy days. You know what I mean? Like you always have, and they say this in terms of your normal life, you should have at least a 3-month rainy day fund, possibly even a 6-month rainy day fund in savings. And that's kind of where like you get the Dave Ramsey view, right? Where you start having some rainy day funds ready just in case, the just in case funds, whatever you want to call it, right? Your car breaks down, you got funds, you whatever. I'm making a rainy day fund so that way when the price drops again, I'm not caught with my pants down. I'm actually taking advantage of the opportunity, and I'm redeploying that capital that I took profits on, and I'm scooping up some more. So then you end up actually getting more of the actual asset that you didn't want to sell. Does that make sense, firefighting? Let me know if that makes sense. And that's why I think I'm going to do a better job coming out with this spreadsheet. And once I share it, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. Right now, it makes sense in my head, and I'm sure it makes sense to some people watching the stream right now with me. But I definitely think it's something that you should be considering yourself. You should start planning for something at this point in time, right? And it doesn't have to be 5%. It could be 1%. It could be 2%. It could be whatever it is that you have right there, okay? We have J-Man in the house. What's up, J-Man? What's going on, my friend? Hello. Good to see you as well, my friend. Good to see you as well. Coming through in the chat, having fun. It's Sunday Fun Day here. We're checking out some pulse, some price actions, how to take advantage of some price pumps, some strategies, some profit-taking strategies, making sure you set limit orders on the upside and the downside, right? And so like that's something that now that I have these numbers kind of built in place for me, well, I can now plan ahead. So I can set limit orders at 4.6 cents to sell 5,000 coins. Because when you start trying to figure this stuff out yourself on the fly, and you start doing things with emotional decisions at that point in time, you make rash decisions. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your soul. Typically, it feels like you make the wrong decisions 10 out of 10 times because that's how it feels emotionally. But if you come out with this and you say, here's what I did and here's why I did it, and this is exactly where I came to, and this is exactly as it played out, and everything that I've done is doing exactly like I planned, you're not coming at it with an emotional stance. You're freaking happy that you've done everything that you said you were going to do. It's the same thing as limit orders. If you set yourself limit orders right here, okay? And let me get back to the HEX chart. So if you set yourself limit orders right now and you set these limit orders down here, well, guess what? When the price drops below 2 cents again, you're not even worried about it. In fact, you're elated that the price dropped. Why? Because you just scooped up some more hex for lower than the market value is right now. So currently it's at 2.3 cents. Well, guess what? If this sucker scoops back up at 1.9 and you have some more at 1.7 and the price falls and it goes down to 1.4 and you get to scoop up some more, you become ecstatic. You become happy that the price actually dropped that low, that you got your order filled. Like, it changes your mental health of how you feel about everything. Yeah. So let me say this real fast. Crypto Freedom in the house. Thank you so much for coming through. Good afternoon. Much respect to your Hex Pulse X Hustle. Going to rewind and start from the beginning on 2x speed. Yeah, skip the first like fucking like 3 minutes. I don't even know how far it was. It was bad. I had a lot of struggle in the beginning of this stream today. Hi, Journey. Yeah, I had a lot of struggle in the beginning of today's stream, and you know, some days are just going to be like that. But thank you so much for coming through. Much love, much appreciated. Great to see you as well, Crypto Freedom. Nuno Alvaro Acevedo asks, how would you place a limit order to buy low? So there's actually 3 different websites that we can discuss, 4 different websites that I'll just look into real quick. So the first one that you can go to, depending upon where you're at, is 1inch.io. Now, this is for everyone outside of the US. 1inch.io is probably going to be my best recommendation because you can come in here and when you go to 1inch.io, they will actually ask you, I can go into Hex, for example, and then, whoops, Hex. So from here, now this is something to also know. You do have to either have USDC or wrapped Ethereum when you do limit orders. So make sure that you have that planned ahead. You do not do limit orders with Ethereum, okay? So I can come in here and I can say I want to set a limit order for USDC to buy HEX. So it says I will sell USDC and I will buy HEX, okay? I can choose how much I want to go in either right now. So I'll say I want to go in with, we'll just say $2,500, right? We're just going to assume some easier numbers here. So say I want to come in and I want to buy $2,500 worth of HEX. Well, if I was to buy at the current market price right now, then I would get roughly about 107,000 HEX at the current price of where it is. Well, I don't want to do it to the market order. I actually want to get more HEX, and you can swap this as well. So that way it shows the price of HEX instead. And I'm kind of leaning over to make sure that I can see the screen. So if you actually come over here and you can say buy HEX at, then I can choose the price that I want to buy HEX at. So I can either say 1.9 or I can go through and say 1.7, 1.4. You choose whatever that price is. So that would essentially be a 20% drop from the current price that it's at right now. Okay. So instead of getting 107,000 HEX, I would actually end up getting 129,000 HEX. So I would get so much more because at the current market value, it would sit around $3,000. And this would be the current price around $2,500 that I would pay. So that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to set the limit orders for when it happens that way. And I can choose when it expires all the way up to 3 years. Okay. That's why I think 1inch.io is probably going to be the best in my opinion. Yeah, I don't have any USDC or anything in here. And so I was just messing around with this saying, you know, if you sell 500, you buy here, and it's created here, and I haven't, you know, I have it going for a year, and I can't even close it because I don't even have any Ethereum in this wallet. So once you actually set your limit order, that's what'll happen. Just to give you an example, you'll click review, message will pop up, give permission and verify. And I'm not sharing my actual screen right now. I'm sharing my screen. But MetaMask will pop up and it'll basically say, do you permit this transaction to be allowing it to spend USDC when the price action hits where it hits? And you have to go in and you have to sign the transaction saying it's ready. I'm canceling that right now because, again, I don't have any funds in this wallet. This is a dummy wallet that I use for streaming. So I hope that answers the question. Nuno Alvaro Acevedo, let me know if that does. That's the first website you can use. The second one you can use is matcha.xyz. And it's going to be going through kind of the same thing. And we're just going to go through this a little bit faster. Because once you set your limit order in place on 1 inch or vice versa, you could do the same thing for selling, right? So if it was to sell, then here's what I want to do. I want to sell, right? And again, assuming I got 100,000 hex that we just talked about, I would sell 5,000 hex at, and I would choose the price, and I would set it for, 4.6 cents, right? And so that would mean that I would sell roughly about $231. I can then give this permission. I can set the limit order. So I sell on the way up as well. Does that make sense? And so like that's why I think the spreadsheet can come in handy. It kind of gives you an idea of the 2x multiples without you having to go through and do these 2x multiples yourself. So that's 2 transaction sites that you can use, of course. The second one is matcha.xyz, and you can come in here and do the same thing. You set yourself the limit order. Come on. Unavailable. Oh, because I need to choose a token. Okay. So now that I've chosen the token, I want to do the same thing. I want to swap USDC because, again, remember, either wrapped Ethereum or USDC for limit orders going that route. You go into limit order, and I want to say I want to buy X amount. Now, matcha.xyz only goes up to 7 days. Okay. The matcha.xyz is going to unfortunately be a 7-day limit. So if this is almost like short-term trading, in my opinion, I'm not necessarily a fan of that. But if you think the price is going to go lower within 7 days, like maybe 2.1 cents or, 2 cents, which I think is definitely possible, then you would set yourself up a 7-day limit order here. So you would say, okay, I want to buy $2,500 worth of hex, and I want to buy it again. If you do it at current market price, then that puts you at 107,000 roughly. I would choose that. I would choose it for a 7-day limit, and I would say I want to buy it when the price reaches. And again, this might be hard to see. Let me zoom in, just so it makes a little bit more sense. So it would say I want to buy $2,500 worth of USDC. I want to buy when the price reaches 1.9 cents. That means I'm going to end up getting roughly about 129,000 hex. I would choose that for 7 days. You go through, you review, you accept, and you sign the contract through MetaMask saying that you're allowing it to spend the USDC once the price hits this amount. Now make sure you have USDC in there and a small amount of Ethereum, because these gas fees are so much less when you set limit orders. Because when you do market buys, you're essentially ready, waiting for the market to do whatever, and the GUI can be crazy, especially through the weeks, right? We've talked about it. You don't want to buy. You want to typically buy on the weekends. You want to do swaps on the weekend. You want to stake on the weekend. You want to end your stake on the weekend. Why? Because the gas limit and the gas fees are so much less. Well, that same transaction happens here, right? You get to set yourself a limit order. It's a very easy way of doing it. Now, that's 2 areas you can look at. The next one we're going to look at is called dex.guru. This is something that only allows you 3 days. So it seems like we're getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay. And I'm not meaning to go shorter and shorter. It's just how the nature of the game works, right? You go in here and you do the same thing. You again, make sure you don't have Ethereum. Make sure you either have wrapped Ethereum or you have USDC. You say, I want to set a limit order and I want to do the same thing, 2,500. You get the idea, right? You say, I want to do 100% of it, 50% of it, whatever, and I don't want to buy it here at this price. I want to buy it at 1.4 cents, right? Assuming that we get that lower, we'll say 1.7. Now, a big recommendation, yeah, you definitely have to make sure you have a small little bit of Ethereum in your wallet to get it done. And that way you can understand. So he says, awesome, thanks. Of course. Yeah, happy to help. This is information that we all learn, right? This is information that I learned. Firefighting 82 says, this is the most influential stream for me in a while. Absolutely going to make a plan. Thanks for the stream. Thank you so much for the comment. That is absolutely awesome. Like, Like that is incredible. I love hearing that. Most influential stream, like let's freaking go, man. Like yeah, I'm gonna come through and I want to pull that chat back up and let's get some fucking applause on here, right? Let's most influential stream, like let's go. Firefighting coming through clutch. I love it. Thank you so much for the comment. Greatly appreciated. Much love as well. Yes, Gabriel, you do have to make sure you have a small bit of a Ethereum in your wallet to pay for the gas fees. Again, you don't want to be. I am not a fan of holding a lot of Ethereum in a wallet that you're going to be holding your HEX or your stakes in, because if you get hacked, what hackers will do is they'll just use all the Ethereum you have and swap all the tokens you have and then send it wherever they want. So I don't like holding a lot of Ethereum in the wallet that you're doing these transactions in. If anything, do a small bit of Ethereum. Gas fees are relatively inexpensive, so you just want to make sure that you're not doing something too crazy, in my opinion. And you don't want to be sitting in with, like, say, one Ethereum with the same wallet that you're doing all these limit orders and that you have all your stakes in, because if you get hacked for whatever reason, you connect to a DApp, whatever happens, then they don't put any money into that account. They use the funds that are already there and they send them off to a different network and to a coin mixer site, and they go through and they do all that. So be sure, like I don't recommend holding a lot of Ethereum if you're going through and doing this route. Are you planning the same type of strategy for the first few months after launch for all the new assets? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So to kind of give you a background, like I sacrificed for liquid loans, I sacrificed for Mintra. I think those are the only two that I really sacrificed for. I don't think I went with anything else. Definitely sacrificed for Pulse Chain. Definitely sacrificed for Pulse X. But other than those, I don't think I was playing around with other items. I got the Texan token from the airdrop. You know, you got the Pulse Doge from the airdrop, and so like there were certain things that I ended up getting, and so I am planning on doing the same type of strategy, which is why when you see like this little spreadsheet here with mine, this is just an example of kind of like where everything would sit, assuming the current buy price was what it was when it was, and assuming how many coins you have, and you can adjust this to whatever you want, right? You're like, and 30 million, you could have, 300 million, a billion, whatever that is. You definitely should have some sort of strategy, and I think 5% to me feels very, very comfortable. Feels so comfortable. I don't think trying to play around with anything more than 5% for myself felt comfortable. At first I thought 10%, and shit, I actually got down to one point where I said 1%, my guy, because I didn't want to sell a whole bunch, right? But at 1%, you have a much harder time scooping up the dip later. And so like it's this trade-off that happens, that these dips are going to come and that I'm planning on it happening, but 1% just didn't feel like I'd be able to scoop up enough when the dips came. 5% felt like a phenomenal number to me. It's just what I felt comfortable with. And again, you got to make at the end of the day, your own investment decision, your own investment thesis. Are you taking profits? Are you not? But these are how you can get it done. You set yourself limit orders. You set yourself the ability to come through here. And let me go over here, because the last one was actually CalSwap. And you know what? Maybe I'll share these websites out right here, right? Let me just put them here in chat, just so you can also see. Yeah, that's 1inch.io. This is matcha.xyz. This is, this is dex.guru. Whoops. Control Z. Oh, escape. This is dex.guru. In case y'all want to check these websites out yourself, you can hopefully copy paste. And again, it's just kind of one of those areas that I'm showing right now. And then the last one that I have is also CalSwap. And I'll go through here and kind of share the same thing. Now, CalSwap is new to limit orders. Just FYI, this is a beta program for them. I personally haven't had the luxury of checking out CalSwap, but it's definitely something I am planning on using and doing, just because I'm always curious and I'm always trying to understand. But as I say with everything, if it's your first time doing something, do it with a very small amount. right? Like if you're planning on starting out with doing a limit order of 2,500, maybe start out doing a limit order at $50. Like, yeah, if the limit order gets filled, that's great. And you got to experience what it was. You know what I mean? Like, always do things with a small amount if it's brand new to you. With crypto, there is no one to hold your hand to say, here's what you do the entire time. Eventually, at the end of the day, you got to have the ability and the balls and the fortitude to click that fucking buy button and click that sell button, okay? And so, like, you can watch videos, you can see how other people do it, and you can follow the steps, but again, at the end of the day, you're the one clicking the button. And so it falls back on you. Should it get sent to the wrong place? Should something happen? Should you put the wrong amount in? Whatever the case may be, start small, right? Start small. I can't stress that enough. Like, yeah, if the price dips, like maybe you do a price right now. If you see the hex price currently sitting at 2.3 cents, well, maybe you do a limit order. Like it's at 2.317 right now. So maybe you do a limit order at 2.3. The chances that it falls that low is pretty likely. So you can at least get some experience in how that feels, what happens, what are the whole process. And you do a very small amount. And then you can set yourself maybe another limit order so you can get some practice. Sometimes doing things multiple times is very good for you, okay? So start simple, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, whatever you're comfortable with. You make it a small transaction close to the price that it is right now. If you've ever tried something like setting a timer on your phone and you want to see how the alarm is or whatever the case may be, or you want the alarm to go off within a certain period of time, then you want to usually try it within a short period of time, right? Either minutes later or an hour later or something like that. You want to test. It's a test. Test it. Like, I don't know how many times I can say that, but just test it. Like, you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to break the bank. It's definitely a good experience. I highly advise testing. And that way you just have a little bit more knowledge when it comes to this stuff. Because when it starts going in, really, Red Bull, Green Bear. Um, yeah, I actually saw your message the other day on the HEX conference, and I want to go through and actually say something. He asked what it takes to become a squid, and it's actually 100 T-shares to 1,000 T-shares actually qualifies you as a squid at that point in time. And I know I answered that within the chat. I don't know if you were still there yesterday. But I just wanted to answer that because I saw that come through and get it done. Yeah, I don't know why you haven't had the ability to fill a limit order under $500. You should make people aware of this. Interesting. I've definitely had limit orders filled more than that before. I've gone and done a $2,500 limit order, and it's worked for me. That was previously in the past, and so I'm not necessarily sure if something has changed, but they should have. Let me see if I can just find something real fast. And this is the last website that I'll just go to for Nuno Alvaro Acevedo. It's a limit order section here, and you can come in through and do the same. They all follow the same process, right? You either have wrapped Ethereum or USDC. And again, I'm just going to say USDC because that's the numbers that make sense for us in our head. I'll say 2,500, and then I can choose HEX as the token that it's going to swap into. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull up Etherscan. And so if you end up in this position, again, CalSwap is a beta position right now, or it's a beta limit order section. You can go to etherscan.io, go to HEX, and just copy the contract right here. This is the actual contract for HEX. And then I can come back over here to CalSwap, and I should be able to type that in. Oh, it's asking for what was it? The IPFS or ENS name. Okay, so let's go back in here. Whoops. No, don't go there. Weird, never seen that before. Official site, ENS. Where would I see that? More? Update token info, check supply, add token to MetaMask, update token info, update name tag, submit label, submit burn, report. Well, let's just see if I can just copy this website for the HTTPS and type that in. Enter valid list location. Oh, there. So that's the freaking contract that I was supposed to be typing into. Again, first time checking out CalSwap. So apparently you want to go to token and then it will give you the option for HEX right here. I'm zoomed in too far. That's why it's so tough to see on this website. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, then let it go. Let me swap it so I can go to manage and then I should be able to type in HEX. Yep, cool. So now HEX is showing up there. If that, I don't even know if I needed to do all that, but if you end up in that situation, that's how you go through and get it done. By the way, just FYI, it looks like CalSwap is doing the same thing where they have a 7-day expiry date. Oh shit, you can go up to a month. Hey, I'm always cool with longer, right? And so maybe this could be a website, right? Instead of 2,500, guys, remember, if it's your first time using a website you're not familiar with, I'll say it again, start small, keep it simple. So you'll go, instead of 2,500, you'll just do 50, and then you'll do the price at like 2.3 cents because you want to test it. So you may not, it's not doing a market buy necessarily. You just want to see how it feels. You want to see how it works. You'll basically approve the transaction to happen by saying you approve CalSwap to be able to, it says CalSwap will cover your gas fees by executing your order at a slightly better price than the limit price you set. For this reason, your order may not be filled exactly when the market price reaches your limit price. Well, there you go. It's telling you right there. It's going to basically cover the gas fee for you right there. So you don't even necessarily have to have the Ethereum in your wallet. I don't know if that's the case. Don't quote me on that. I would still have a small portion of Ethereum and they'll probably just reimburse you or refund you. I think it's how it works. But you definitely start small. You do $50 and you say, I think the price is going to hit 2.3 cents. It's at 2.31 right now, right? If I go to market price, it's at 2.31. You're not saying you're off by that much. Go through and do a 2.30 and then swap it, test it. Once it fills and you see how it works and the actual execution filled and everything shows exactly like you said, and you have HEX in your wallet now for 2,200 HEX for the $50 that you bought, then you feel more comfortable. If you need to do it again, do it again. Practice makes perfect. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? If you're planning on practicing and you're doing everything you can to get it done right, then you're going to be so much better off than just trying to go in here and do something and try to get in right now at this rash price. Hey, we got a new subscriber to the channel, Ace the Alien. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Guys, speaking of subscribers, I am absolutely having a blast. My goal was to be at 500 before the end of the month. Not only did we crush that number, we're already at like 515 subscribers. So like, let's push it to 600 before the end of the month. Let's continue this rise. Like, I absolutely love making this content. I do a daily stream live, noon Central Standard Time. Today, we're just hanging out. We're talking about different stuff. We're having fun with everything overall. Yeah, so that already went there. Red Bull Green Bear, I love the name. It says Randy Olarski experienced the same thing. He says there's a reason only larger orders fill those limits, but he says smaller buyers should just market buy less than $1,000. He's been in the game for a while already, right? And so like, there's nothing wrong with doing a market buy. In fact, some people will just do a MetaMask swap. They don't even do a market buy. They just go into MetaMask and just swap it in there if it's below a certain threshold. Because you have to pay a 0.875 cent fee or 0.875% fee with doing that on the on MetaMask, I mean, and you just do a swap on there. So like, yeah, I mean, you can go, there's many ways you can get into crypto. That like getting into crypto is so freaking confusing, man, because there's not one right way. There's never one right way. It's not like going on Coinbase, for example, and just swapping to the token that you want. It doesn't work that way. You have to learn how to move money from a centralized exchange to a decentralized exchange, or you have to move from a centralized exchange into a self-custodial wallet. And then there's different levels. It's like, okay, You can just do market buys. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing against that. I've just learned that there's a better way to get things done, even if it's $500. Like, look at the difference between 2,500 on a market buy right now. So you would get 107,000, and then setting this limit order, and I'll even do 1,000. We'll use Randy's number, right? So say you do $1,000 market buy right now, that's 43,000 hex, and say the price goes to 0.19, like I think it might just do, then you get an extra 10,000 hex almost. That's big. And guys, like we're talking about the difference between something between waiting like a couple weeks for the price to hit 1.9 cents to get 10,000 extra coins. Now, what happens when this coin becomes $1 a piece? Well, you just got an extra $9,000 for something by waiting a couple days by doing limit orders. So I don't think there's a certain number that you should just do things at. Personally, that's how I feel. You can do whatever you want with your money though, boo boo. You choose if you want to buy and you just want to do a market buy, like cool. But the way I see it is you get so much bang for your buck by setting limit orders, and this works on the flip flop too, right? Like say you want to sell. Well, guess what? I can sell hex at a certain price over here, and I can say when price reaches 4.6 cents, like you can also do the same thing. You can market sell as well. Like does that the same metric? Do you end up in that same position? Like I don't know, right? But I think that you want to have a plan in place so that way you have yourself covered, right? And this is going through quite a bit over here, but I definitely think once you start learning how decentralization works and you start learning about decentralized protocols like these right here, like CalSwap and 1inch and Matcha, like that's that next level of learning in crypto, in my opinion. That's how I feel. And I'm just sharing the information that I've had the journey of going through and experiencing, right? Orion, thank you so much for coming through, having fun in the chat, having fun on a Sunday fun day. Says start small and mistakes won't be as painful. Oh my gosh, I cannot agree with you more. Like, for people who stake for the very first time and they've never staked before and they just go through, Tom Gillespie did this, as a matter of fact, when he went through and he was doing the Hex documentary that he just came out with. And that's a great little visual, great little item too, right? It's Hexagon Time Value Money is what it is. It's by Tom Gillespie, and he goes through, whoops, and he goes through and actually searches people who have time value money. He goes through and figures out all these people, an unbiased review of Hex. But in order to do that, he actually staked Hex. And when he staked Hex, he staked like $5,000 worth of Hex. And not only that, when you stake it, it disappears from your wallet. It's gone, and it's sent to a black hole address. It's sent to a burn address, a null address, 00000, right? And so it looks like you just sent your money somewhere and it's gone. And you're like, holy fuck, what happened to my money? What happened? And you start freaking out. Well, if you go with the metric of starting small and you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna just do a like the way I started staking, guys, and I've said this before, and this is how I've done it. But the way I started staking was I did a $1, I did a 1 week stake, and I did a 1 month stake. Okay, this is my beginning entry into Hex. I learned about it, and I was like, this is absolutely incredible. And if it does everything like it sounds like it can do, it's going to be an absolutely marvelous time. But I didn't want to make a mistake by just staking out to a year and not knowing what the fuck that meant. So I did a 1 week stake, and then I did a 1 month stake. And the 1 week stake I actually ended the very next day. Why? Because I wanted to see what happens when you end a stake early. And then I did a 1 month stake, and I let that ride out all the way. And this is a very small amount of money that I'm doing these with as well. It's not like I started out just staking everything massively in the beginning. And once I did a 1 month stake, it was like yeah, exactly. Oh, I see. Yeah, Gabriel asked a question. How do you know when it's been done? Do you get a notification, or you just see you don't have that amount of USDC? Yeah, so he says right there, you get a notification from an Etherscan receipt. And just like any transaction you've ever done, you can pull up the transaction hash and dive in further and what it looks like and how it's filled and all that as well. So that is the correct answer for sure, for sure. But yeah, you'll see it swap your USDC and you won't have that, but you'll see Hex. And so as long as you have, if you're doing it in MetaMask, for example, and if you have your Hex in that scenario and you don't have it in, well, first you want to add Hex into your MetaMask, right? And so you'll actually want to go into MetaMask and import a token, just like we did a moment ago. So you can see assets over here. And let me actually share this real fast. Share. I'm just going to share this whole screen. So from here, back over here. Okay. So from here, once you actually go through here, you can actually go through, see portfolios. If you don't have Hex currently in MetaMask as an example, you can click import tokens and you can type in Hex. If it doesn't pop up by doing that, you can click custom token and just type in all the information. So you'll get the contract address, and when you type that in, typically, that's right here using the Hex contract address. And so if I go back into MetaMask, just as an example, and I go down and I say import tokens, custom, and I type that address in, most of the time it automatically fills. It'll do Hex. It's a 8 token decimal, which is everything that matches, right? If I go back, and I can't move this to the side, I don't think. Yeah, if I go back over here, I'm just going to add it real quick. So now I have 0 Hex over here, but I can say import token. And so now whenever I go down, it should show Ethereum, USDC, Hex, whatever other tokens you have. And so that's the 8 decimal token here. Hex is the name of the actual token. We already know that. It's not a surprise. That is the name of Hex, or that is the name of the token. So like that's how you go through, and once the limit order is filled, it can then populate under the transactions. Whoops. So if I go back into MetaMask, why aren't you opening MetaMask? Then I can go through and see activity. Now I don't have any transactions on this one because again, this is a dummy wallet. I don't have any funds on here. I use it to adjust and play around with Pulse Chain Testnet. And I know it's a little bit hard to see, and I apologize on that. I know I can zoom in a smidge. No, I can't. Not on this. Not on the pop-up. But this is so that way you can see. You'll go through and you'll have a transaction happen. You can click the transaction hash, and it'll show up in Etherscan. And it'll show you all the information of how that swap went down. Let's see if we can find one. Let me go here and see if I can just find, because this person removed some liquidity, and so maybe it would show me on that. Oh, not that's crazy. I just found someone who's actually a subscriber to the channel. It looks like you have your wallet named, so I'm not gonna show this information on this screen. But that's cool. That's always fun, and that's always cool to see. You can actually start diving into people's wallet and see what they're all about. Yeah, I'm not gonna show. Of course I did. I was showing the entire time. Well, damn. I apologize. Anyways, that's a shame. Oh, because I'm showing the whole screen. I'm not showing a tab. Well, there you go. That's a person who's actually on the channel, and so I'm not gonna dive in, get too crazy with it. But hopefully that answers the question to to go through and answer that, right? So I know we had Nuno Alvaro Acevedo ask like how to get the limit orders done. There's 4 websites that you can check out: Matcha.xyz, oneinch.io, Dex.guru, and CalSwap, or it's actually swap.cal.fi. But again, I have all these listed in the chat. You're welcome to go through, check it out, see what it's all about, see what's happening with it. Big GZ. Hey, we just having fun, right, y'all? We just here having fun. So that's a little bit about it, right? And so like one, you want to go through, you want to have basically something in place that you know that you can commit to yourself, right? And so I find that these help with myself and how I can go through and learn how to get everything done, right? Limit orders are definitely set for sell prices and for entry prices. You can use these strategies to maximize your not only potential of your returns, but also be able to scoop up some more of the asset that you're wanting to scoop up. And I do it with the 5% profit taking strategy. You know, I talk about this sometimes, but diversification, I think, commonly gets confused in crypto. And the way I determine or the way I define diversification with crypto is I want to have my assets on multiple wallets in case one gets screwed. I don't want to have multiple assets on one wallet, right? I don't think that makes sense because someone mentioned earlier when BTC drops, all the other coins drop as well, right? And that's very common. And so if you're diversifying by having $100 in 10 crypto projects just to see which one's going to perform, I don't find that to be the best strategy because usually with one drops, they all typically fall as well. What I mean by diversification is have the wallets on something that you have the quality asset that you found. In my case, that's HEX, Pulse Chain, and PulseX. But once I have these tokens, I want to have them on multiple wallets. I want to have stakes on multiple wallets. Why? In case one gets screwed, I'm not having to start over from scratch. And so that's why I do what I do in that regard. I diversify that way. I don't want to have it all in one lump sum account because I think that's a quick way to get wrecked. For example, we saw Hex 19. He was a shark in the Hex community. He was an absolutely awesome member. He's still in the community. He's 80 years old. He's an older gentleman, right? Um, put plenty of money, had millions of dollars in Hex, got hacked, right? Through a sim swap attack or through whatever attack it was. He got hacked. He lost his funds. And we say hacked, and what I mean by hacked is his wallet was compromised. It's not like someone was able to go in and like actually hack into it by doing everything and doing DDoS attack into it and all that. Typically, it means you gave up something. You had your seed phrase in a notes, or you had your picture of your seed phrase in your iCloud storage, or whatever the case may be. There was some fundamentals that didn't get happen in the beginning that ended up compromising your wallet later. And so if my wallets ever get compromised, I want to still have a backup plan as well, and I want to have funds set to the side. So because of this bear market and through this whole time and not the launch of Pulse Chain, I've now been able to set up multiple wallets that have 15-year staking ladders, and it's incredible. And I'm so thankful to this time because it's all getting copied over when Pulse Chain comes. So that was something that I think needs to also be said. You definitely want to be knowledgeable with that as well. That's how I recommend diversifying. You always want to keep news. You always want to stay up to date with everything. And that's not meaning like if the idea of what you have in the beginning hasn't changed for your initial investment thesis, like there isn't some like for example, the one thing that would truly scare everyone in Hex is if the OA just started selling and started acting up rash, started acting out of character, because that's something that would be massive panic. And until that happens, why play like that's an unknown? We don't know what will happen there. It could be really good for the whole Hex ecosystem in the future, but until like something really comes out and changes how the actual contract works, then the prices that you're buying at now should motivate you to scoop up as much as you can, right? And again, don't be afraid to come and ask for advice, folks. Like we're here, we do streams constantly. I do a daily stream. Come and ask for advice. Come ask for guidance. Like if I don't know the answer, I'll try to figure it out with you. And if I don't know the answer, then I'll straight up say I don't know. You can definitely always use tools to kind of determine what you like the best. As a matter of fact, we talked about this earlier using Chat GPT. Let's see if I can see if we can go over here and see that happen. 1 second. Cool. Is that really true? Wow, it says ChatGPT is at capacity right now. I don't want to get notified. I mean, interesting. Do. Interesting. Huh. There's a lot of people on ChatGPT. It's new. It's brand new to the game. It's new to everyone as well. And so apparently they're actually out of commission at this point in time because they're working on scaling their system. And so write a guided meditation about the status of ChatGPT. As you read this message, please take a moment to pause and breathe. Notice the sensations in your body and the rhythm of your breath. Remind yourself you are not alone in wanting to try out ChatGPT. Many others are interested in it as well. Be patient. This website will be the best way to accommodate everyone. Trust that the right time for you to try ChatGPT will come. In the meantime, focus on continuing to breathe and stay present in the moment. So, anyways, that's currently happening with ChatGPT. That's interesting. So they're currently, it looks like, at capacity. I can't use them for the new result that we had planned on. I wanted to kind of test out what ChatGPT thought of with everything happening in this whole ecosystem, what's going on with everything, what it would say. This is a new website that I just recently found, and y'all let me know if this is something y'all have seen before. If this is something that's like trustworthy in the community, I don't know. It's called pulselistings.com. And apparently they're going to be giving away free PLS tokens. It's a faucet which you can claim 100 PLSX every 24 hours. So I shared this with everyone before, but there's also a free pulse chain that you will also want to claim every hour, actually. So let me pull up that. It's actually here. Nope, not that one. Chain faucet. And yeah, so freepulse.io is the other one. And so we're going to go through and check out two websites real fast while we're here. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Where did the tab go that I was on? What? What in the world? It was just there. Okay, cool. It's right here. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, cool. What? Is that showing my whole screen as I do that? It is. Interesting. Why am I sharing my whole screen? Stop it. I don't like sharing my whole screen. I don't like it. That's why I'm so confused. I like seeing it as it is right here, where it's a tab and I don't have to worry about it. So Pulse Listings is another website that's apparently out here. You're going to be able to claim 100 PLSX every one day or every 24 hours. And it's listing a whole bunch of stuff that's talking about everything. And again, I haven't had a chance to fully dive in on this one just yet, but it seems like they're pretty big in the whole ecosystem. This is something that, again, I haven't seen. One thing I've learned is that ChatGPT still does not have live connection to the internet. Still impressive though. Yeah, so there's actually something that you can add for it to actually be live on the internet. It's called Web Chat GPT, and it will allow you to actually search the web at the same time. Web Chat GPT. It's an extension for Chrome, and it actually will update the area live as well with up-to-date information using the website. So again, it's Web Chat GPT, and it's an add-on. You can download it and get the add-on for Chrome, but it actually supercharges it because it gives access to the web. And so down here, you can see it actually will pop up. Let me get rid of your chat notification for a second. It'll actually pop this up down here. And so you can see it actually has the ability to search on the web, and you can click that button. You can actually choose 3 results, and you can choose any time. It's just another, yeah, I'm so into this Chat GPT, the fucking Stable Diffusion, Midjourney. I have an absolute blast learning about all this stuff. I think it is an absolutely incredible spectacle. Like you could do it for everything, right? Like if you I was using it to figure out like how to figure out the web or the Excel spreadsheet formulas for what happens if the price doubles every time, and I want to take 5% profit, and it comes out with this whole thing. Now, granted, I still had to go through and figure out other stuff as well, but pretty freaking cool if you ask me. And that's just one of the items that you can start doing on it. So, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Share, Chrome. And okay, cool. So these are the 2 websites that we were talking about: pulselistings.com and freepulse.io. I am most excited about freepulse.io. Why? Because they are going to have the ability to pull pulse every freaking hour. So if the very first time you connect, you're going to get 10,000 pulse, incredible, for free. For people who are new to the network, who don't have funds to be able to transact on the network, this is the website to send them to. They get to transact right away. They get to draw, and every single hour they get to re-roll this item. And so you have to wait another hour before you can draw. Well, look down here. If you end up getting these numbers, like if you end up getting between 0 to 7, you get 1 pulse. If you get 7 to 9,600, then you get 71, right? And if you end up getting 10,000 pulse as the roll, then you get 1.4 million pulse for free. Free. Guys, this is like for free. This is crazy. I am a big fan of freepulse.io. I think I'm going to be using this as my strategy to keep me busy and do this every hour. Like, can you imagine that you just get to get free pulse every hour? I will not be messing with this. You can't. This is another way that they're going to make their pulse back up on this. But they have a roulette game about mini games. So you can say you're 18 years old and you can say you want to bet on when it's going to go. I'm just giving this as an example because I only have 1 pulse available. But you can say bet on green. Oh, I need more. You need to at least make 100 pulse to make a bet. People are going to wreck themselves, guys. This is I don't advise people to do this. I don't think people should multiply. This is another thing that they're going to be doing as well. But for whatever I say, people are going to do whatever the heck they want. You can bet 100. You can choose auto bet, so it just freaking cycles through, and every single time there's a little it does an auto bet every single time. Look at this, and I don't even have anything going, but you can withdraw. You can do all this. You can mine. Man, there's gonna be so many freaking things, and I'm like, you can play Crash. This is actually a crazy game that you can have, and so you can see the multiples. Someone just, if you wait long enough, you actually can get a multiple of 1,000. Oh, it's hard to see. I know it's hard to see. There you go. So look at this. Like, it's going to be going. It's like 1.1, 1.2, and then you can choose when you want to exit. If you have the balls to continue, you cannot pull out before it reaches 2x. So if you make a bet right here, you can choose how much you want to bet, and then it'll automatically go. Someone could have actually won this one that got up to 1,390. Like, that's crazy. But then look how often it crashes, and watch this go. It'll go 1. As soon as it crosses 2 and it gets green, you can withdraw right away, right? But you have to wait until it's green. And these are the previous examples of people getting cashed out, people buying, people doing all that stuff. And I've actually looked into some of these folks' wallets because guess what? It's all public. You can type this in here, and I can just type in on Etherscan and Pulse Chain, and I can go in here and be like, do these folks actually have stakes? And so I start, you know me, I start diving in on these folks, and I'm like, are they actually staked right now? Do they have any stakes? Are these the wallets of people who have HEX? And I start diving in, right? Because these are wallets. These are true wallets that are on the Ethereum network. So you can go in here. This person playing this game is this wallet right here. I can go in and I can see their hold $91 worth of HEX right now, 3,900 HEX. They also hold Poor Pleb and Texan token, right? I can then go into the ERC20 transactions and I can see what they're all about and what they're doing. They're buying the Texan token, it looks like every single day or at least once a day, right? And so they're buying 2 million here, 1 million here, and they're going to continue to do that. And like, I just start diving in on some folks because like, why not, dude? This is a time to do it. Wow, this is what I enjoy doing. I start diving into people's wallets and start looking at what they do. Matthew Duprell says, I know everyone's situation is different, but I've heard some people never stake less than 100,000 hex. Do you think small stakes like 6,000 or 12,000 hex are a bad idea? Absolutely not, Matthew. And here's why. Because if you go, for example, I will go to a different website, xcalc.net, just so you can kind of see this play out in perspective, okay? So currently, right now, and one to say less than 100,000 and you don't stake is absurd. I'll just say that much right now. If anyone said that, you're absolutely smoking crack, because not everyone has the ability to even have the commitment to buy 100,000 hex, especially when prices of hex start going back up again. So to say you don't stake until you reach 100,000 is just sheer stupid. Here's why. Because right now it costs 25,459 hex to get 1 T-share. Okay? Well, guess what? If you go out to 5 years, then that cuts in half. And if you go out to 10 years, then that cuts in a third. Okay? And here's what I mean by that. So if I go and say 12,000 hex, if you only do it for a very short period of time, like 30-day rolling stakes, then you're going to get absolutely wrecked, and it's just a waste of your time. Because the gas fees are probably going to end up being more than you ended up paying. So this is saying that I think that the price of hex is not going to change in 30 days. During that time, you will have 12,000 staked. You will end up getting longer pays better, so you'll end up getting slightly more, about 200 extra hex by going 30 days. And then you end up getting 0.5 T-shares, okay? Now, overall, you would only end up accruing roughly about 89 hex during this entire 30-day period, waiting for that 30 days. And it would only end up being roughly about $2 in yield that you earned if you only did it for a 30-day period. So if you're doing small amounts, you got to have a long-term vision. That's just a fact. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Forget the 30-day stake. Let's kick this out. How many days is 5 years? How many days is 5 years? So it would be 1825. Cool. So 1825, if we go out, 1825, and let's say that the price doesn't change at all in 5 years, okay? The price has done nothing in 5 years. It may have gone up, it may be back down, but it does nothing in 5 years. That would mean you have 12,000 hex that you first staked. You would then end up getting roughly about 1 T-share, okay? So during that entire time for 5 years, you're gonna get paid a daily yield of roughly 6.3 average right now hex per day, because you almost have 1 T-share. So that means after 1 year, or after 5 years, you will have earned and almost doubled the amount of hex that you earned in yield. So you would have gotten 11,495, assuming it was just 6 hex per day. There are days where you're going to have a higher payout. So the overall total payout you would have after the end of the 5-year period would be 24,000 hex, 23,495 hex. That means you doubled your money in 5 years. You went from $260 at right now, or $270 at the current price, to $540 in 5 years. You doubled your money in 5 years, assuming that the price did nothing. Nothing. That's assuming the same price today as it is in 5 years. Now let's just shoot this for shits and giggles, okay? Let's say the price just does a 10x and you end up reaching 23 cents. Look how big this difference is. This is a 12,000 hex stake. This isn't massive. This isn't huge. This is pretty average that you're going to see across the board. But you have a 12,000 hex stake giving you the same T-share, 0.94. But during this time, you have the same yield, but now that value has gone up substantially in terms of USD value. And that's only in 5 years. So you took something that cost you $270 today to go up to 500 or 5,427. Like, are you kidding me? 270? That's a 20x of your money in 5 years. And you didn't do anything but stake it. So, Matthew, I think anyone who's telling you not to stake less than 100,000 is straight smoking crack, and you shouldn't listen to them. Love them, whoever's selling you. That is absolutely the wrong information, because this is what you do. Like, guys, have a long-term vision. I only went out 5 years. Let's actually assume and be bullish and say you kick this sucker out to the maximum profit for longer pays better. So every year that you add, you get an extra 20% added to longer pays better. Okay. So, and to break this down so you can see, because again, I'm a visual person, so I just like showing this kind of stuff, right? So assuming 12,000 hex here, 20% of that is 2,400. That's for 1 year, right? So every single year that you add adds an extra 20% to the longer pays better bonus. The way the mechanism works is after 10 years, you get a 200% bonus and the longer pays better payout. So let's just say you kick this sucker out to 10 years, which is 3,650 days. Jesus Christ. Let me just scroll. 3,650 days. That would mean you would then end up getting, in terms of the longer pays better bonus, 200% on top, which is why it's calculating everything here, which is why you now have 1.4 T-shares instead of 0.5 T-shares if you were to just do 1 year. Let me know if this makes sense. But this is what's going to pay you for the next 10 years. Assuming this is all that you have is 1 T-share or 1 stake for 10 years, and that in 10 years time, the price only goes and does a 10x above what it is now. Then look at this. You took something that earned 12,000 hex in the beginning. During the portion of a 10-year period, you've actually earned 37,000 hex. We'll say 38,000 hex, bringing your grand total to almost 50,000 hex for staking out 10 years. That would mean that the price would be 23 cents in 10 years, which I'm being, again, this is bearish in my opinion, folks. That would mean the price that you would have in dollar value would be $11,520, which today only costs $270 today. 11,520 divided by 270 is a 42x gain of your money. Like, no, I do not believe that anyone telling you never stake less than 100,000 is right. I think that is absolutely a garbage thing to say. I think you can absolutely benefit. Now here's the benefit. Like, check this out. Let's use that 6,000 number, because that's half. That's half of what you even talked about, right? 6,000 only cost $139 today. You would still end up getting the longer pays better bonus going out to 10 years. So you would, again, 200% of the stake amount, which is 12,000, which is how it calculates, almost giving you 1 T-share. That $170 value, $140 value, I mean, would turn into, and this is just at the price of 23 cents, would turn into $5,760. But let's not pay attention to the dollars. Let's pay attention to the hex, because this is what matters. The value of the price of hex is always going to fluctuate, but what's not going to fluctuate is the amount of hex you have toward the end, because every single day you are paid a trustless yield based on how many T-shares you have. So if you have a long-term vision and you go long 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you get to start maximizing your potential reward and your ROI massively, right? Such a big difference in just having a 1 year thesis. Because, guys, what's going to happen in 1 year, especially if you stake 6,000 hex? You could turn this in 10 years' time, you turn 6,000 hex into 25,000 hex. And whatever the price is at that time, my guy, that is a huge opportunity, okay? Let's see here. How much pulse do you think will be enough for first transaction? Literally, however much, like, it's gonna cost less than a penny, my guy. Like, fractions of a penny. Fractions. So, like, you go to this website, freepulse.io, and the very first time you connect your wallet, you're given 10,000 pulse chain, because that's the people who are creating freepulse.io. Felix, and I forget the other person's name. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But they've been massive in this whole Hex community for a long time. But they're going to give 10,000 pulse right away. And that's enough to transact and do multiple transactions immediately. Because right now it costs less than 1 pulse on the test net. Right? And so, like, let's just go here. I was v2b dot testnet.pulsex. Yeah. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Cool. Firefighting 82 says Dip Catcher said you shouldn't stake less than 100k or gas kills you. Was devastated when I first heard that and thought my whole ladder was a waste. Not even close. Not even close. Like, gas fees were crazy at one point in time. And they're probably going to be crazy in the future. But Ethereum is also coming out with its own ability to lower the gas fees as well through sharding. And so if you have a long-term vision, 5 years, 10 years out, the gas fees shouldn't even be a concern. Right? And that's just a thing that needs to happen. Everyone needs to get there. Like, ETH 2.0 is already launched. They're already on the roadmap to keep developing ETH 2.0. And so if you were doing short-term stakes, like, fuck it, dude. I'll go back and show you here. If you're doing short-term stakes like a year, okay? So say we're here, and say we do only a 1-year stake. 365 days. And the price is not changed after 1 year, okay? This is when you might get wrecked. Because the amount of money it costs to swap into HEX, the amount of money it costs to stake HEX, depending upon when you do it, that's why you want to stake on the weekend. You want to end your stakes on the weekend. You want to pay attention to the gas fees and make sure you're knowledgeable when that's happening. But assuming we just look at this right here, that puts you here with $130, okay? That's how much money you have remaining after all of your swaps, after everything like that, and that's what you have staked, okay? Well, after 1 year's time, you may have only earned an extra 639 hex, which may only end up being $14 if the price stays the same that it currently is. So for you to end this stake, it may end up costing you more to end this stake than it did to actually than you actually made on the entire yield waiting 1 year. But that's why if you go small, you have to have a long-term vision. It sucks to say that, right? You can't play with the big boys right away. Have a long-term game plan. Let's kick this sucker out to, how many days was it? 1825 to 5 years? 1825 was 5 years. So let's kick this out to 1825 as an example. This is when that pretty much doesn't really matter at that point, because you take $140 after all of your swaps and everything like that. And then you end up after 1 year of the price, not after 5 years of the price not changing, you end up with $132 or $270 that you've made. So you end up with $132 in yield, and you made $270 after 5 years time. Now I think it's going to cost less than $270 in 5 years, and I think it's going to cost less than $132 after 5 years to end this stake. So you've actually made money and you made profit. I think anyone telling you to do less than 100,000, like, smoking crack. I'll say it right there. That's my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Thank you so much for handling that, Hexodl. Yeah, I can't agree with that sentiment at all. At all. Based on everything that I see, you have to, if you're coming in smaller with 6,000, with 12,000, with whatever amount of hex that you have, then you got to have a long-term vision planned on this one, right? But by having a long-term vision, you also have to know and be comfortable with this protocol. Because so often someone gets into this for the first time, and instead of learning everything about it, they just say, I'm going to stake for, 90 days and see what happens. Well, in that scenario, if you end up doing something like this for 90 days, it costs you $130 right now. And that's, again, after swaps and everything like that, it may cost you $160. So we're going to say you've paid $20 in fees already at this point. Well, in 90 days, you will have only earned $3. And so if you have to end this stake and pay additional gas fees, yeah, you're probably going to end up getting screwed, right? And that's a fact. Don't do short-term stakes if you don't have big capital. We're not playing with the big boys doing these million hex stakes, rolling 30-day stakes. Like, I'm not playing with those guys. I don't play with them. I don't want to play with them. Fuck them. Fuck that. That's not my strategy. I don't see the benefit of it. And I think that's something that you have to to figure out for yourself, right? But again, like, that's, in my opinion, dude, you're smoking crack. I'll just say it like that, right? Let's just do this little test transaction real fast, just for example. Let's connect my MetaMask real quick and connect, switch. Yep. Okay. Cool. So just to kind of give you, what was the question that you asked? How much pulse do you think will be enough for first transaction? Well, this is the test net right here, which you're welcome to also go hop into right now. I currently only have 10,000 pulse in here at this moment in time because, again, this is a dummy wallet that I use. But assuming I want to do anything, like say I want to go swap this into HEX, and I want to take 1,000 of it, which would be roughly about only $5 worth of pulse, and I want to swap it into HEX right now, then I go down here and I'll say swap. Now look at this. If I say swap, look at the price it's going to charge on this. Whoops. I'm trying to see output estimated. You'll receive. Yeah, it's literally less than anything here. I'm going to say confirm. It's popping this other transaction up over here, and I'll show you this little tab so you can see. This is the MetaMask tab saying that it's going to swap on. Can I not show this tab and do it at the same time? Oh, because I'm zoomed in? Is that really why? I don't think that's why. Let me zoom out just a smidge. Just a smidge of it. Okay. Is it because I'm sharing the screen, really? Let me scroll down. All right, well, let me stop sharing this one so I can scroll down. Okay. Yeah, it literally let me scroll down as soon as I did it. Oh, forget it. I'll just go back and share the whole screen. Screen. Cool. So this is actually the screen that it looks like once the transaction happens, right? And so you come over here. I'm swapping 1,000 TPLS. Look how much it costs. This is a gas fee, my guy. 0.0008 TPLS. That, like, what are you? If you go on to freepulse.io and get one pulse, that would mean how many transactions can you do based on that math alone? 1 divided by 0.0008. You could do 1,250 transactions at the current gas fee price that it's at right now with one pulse. One pulse. So to answer the question, how much pulse do you think you'll need for a first transaction? One freaking pulse. One pulse. You'll be able to do everything with one pulse. The fee on this is insane. It literally says the estimated gas fee is 0.0. Look at this. It's saying that it's going to cost me 1,000. 0.0008. Like, yeah, confirm. And then the transaction happens. I have to add HEX to MetaMask because I haven't done that on this test net, on this dummy wallet here. But I can add it here. It's going to show that I now have 4.49 HEX over here. I can then view the transaction. I can close, of course. close. And if I want to, I can go back into my MetaMask, and should I want to go back and look at that transaction, it's saying that it's swapped right here. You can pull everything up right now. I can view it on the Block Explorer as well. This is something everyone should be trying to learn how to do, right? Testnet Pulse Chain is still very useful for everyone to start playing around with this as well. So when the time comes, you're knowledgeable when it happens. So this is basically saying like, hey, I swapped over here and this was the actual input. This was the overall transaction. This is everything that happened. And again, I can go into logs and see everything as well. It's just letting me know all that stuff. It's saying that I interacted with the contract. It cost me look at this. 0.0008 was the fee for gas. That is the transaction fee. 0.0008. And I know I got the chat right there with Gabriel's message still popping up there. But how insane? How insane? And this is given away for free. Freepulse.io. Check it out. Start using it. This is a fun little thing, right? You go to freepulse.io. You can come in here once an hour, roll for a dice roll, and depending upon how many you get, no matter what, you'll always get one. And the very first time you connect to this website, you're gonna get 10,000. Okay. So yeah, easy, in my opinion, super simple. Yeah, but if you miss Pulse Sack and did Sack for Pulse X, you get 1 Pulse. Do you think it will be enough for first transaction? Well, to answer that question, I think I went through, Gabriel, and answered that for you already. But yeah, you know, I see you saying thank you down here. I appreciate that as well. And yeah, I'm definitely just happy to share that information because this is an opportunity that I want everyone to be ready for. So yeah, there's a lot of people who miss the sacrifice for Pulse Chain and miss the sacrifice for Pulse X. Hey, let's assume let's go back and just oops, I'm sorry, pup. I didn't mean to kick you. I stretched my leg out over here and I kicked my pup. Didn't mean to, but let's go back over here to the screen. So let's assume for a second you have someone coming in for the very first time. They're brand new to crypto. You're trying to introduce them into Pulse Chain because you want them to be a part of a new ecosystem that could have potential massive returns going forward in the future. Well, obviously, they're not going to have anything to do anything. They missed the sacrifice for Pulse Chain. They missed the sacrifice for Pulse X. They actually didn't have a MetaMask already created. They don't have a decentralized wallet that they hold already because they're a no coiner. They've never been introduced to crypto before. Or if they've been introduced to crypto, what happened? Okay, cool. That was weird. Did I kick something? Or if they've been introduced to crypto, they've heard about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and they buy them on centralized exchanges, and you're trying to teach them and educate them the ways of crypto and the benefits of self-custodial wallets and how not your keys, not your coins work. Well, this is a website you're going to direct them to, right? Save this as a tab or as a bookmark for yourself. Not only can you come back once an hour for possible passive income, imagine you do this for 1 year. You just roll this once an hour for 1 year. After 1 year time, you've accumulated however much Pulse you've had. That can be an absolutely life-changing amount of money that you didn't even have to do anything for, but come in here and just click a button, say you're a human, go through a CAPTCHA, and that's as simple as it is. That is incredible. That's incredible. That's freaking epic. This is so awesome. And they're doing this for free. So you're going to have a no coiner and you're going to say, hey, I need you to first go into freepulse.io. They're going to go in here. Well, let me backtrack. First, you need to create a decentralized wallet, right? MetaMask, Treasure, Ledger, whatever. Once you connect it, then freepulse.io. They connect on here. They can now do any transaction they want on the Pulse Chain network. Any transaction they want. Because the fees are going to be pennies, folks, less than pennies, 0.0008. And this is after the testnet's been running for the last year and a half. And there's been a lot of transactions that have happened through that time too. Okay. Hex Huddle coming through saying, "Hey, I'm late, but I'm here. I'm glad. Thank you so much for coming here." Oh shit, it's already 3 o'clock. Oh my goodness, I have got to do a little pup swap. Holy fuck, I got completely distracted over here. Yeah, Free Pulse is gonna be the best faucet in crypto. 100% agree. Hex Huddle sharing that. Better do a staking ladder if 10 years are too far for you. At Matthew Deprell. Agreed. Yeah. And again, like staking ladders are definitely a good way to get it. Now, I will say if you're coming in with 6,000, 12,000 hex as that example, maybe look at setting something up for 3 years. Why 3 years? Because that's probably going to be the time for the next bull run to really start hitting that peak market. So when you extract value, you're going to probably be in the green as long as we continue through these cyclical areas. Hex Auto saying, yeah, I also like stakehex.today. I use it everywhere. It can increase payout per T-share. Love it. I use it all the time too. I was just using it for other ones for everything on it too. And project that on the site. Yeah, it definitely does. More bullish. BRB. Thank you for the detailed breakdown, Matthew. You're welcome so much. Eagles game coming on. Gotta run, fellows. Great stream. Catch you later. Well, firefighting, hit me up on Twitter if you're looking for the profit taking spreadsheet if you want to have it, or just wait until I continue to work on it and improve it. Gabriel says thank you. Hexflex saying nice work. Hex conference is in about 4 hours. Day 3 out of 4. Yep. It's been an absolute blast, man. It's been an absolute blast. But I didn't even realize the time had kind of gotten away from me today, actually, which is always hilarious, right? It's something that you never really anticipate, or I definitely don't. It's just been a fun day of hanging out, but I definitely do got to get going. Got to go let the pups out. We do a little swap with pups and all that good stuff. So, got to go take care of that personal life. You already know. But folks, remember, keep calm, hex on, stay positive. 2023 is a better me, right? Have the mentality of proper preparation, preventing poor performance. Let's make sure we get our mind right so that way when the time comes to take advantage of these opportunities, you're ready to jump on it like a tiger waiting for its prey. You're not sitting there trying to chase it like a gazelle that runs away. So, absolutely love having everyone in this stream with me. Thank you so much, folks. It has been an absolute blast. Let's continue to get this subscriber count up. Like, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch y'all in tomorrow's stream. Peace.